Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto was born, his bloodline and powers were sealed with the Kyuubi by the Yondaime. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. In Wave Country, Team 7 was in a battle with Zabuza, Momochi and Haku on the Wave Country bridge. Kakashi was battling Zabuza and protecting Tazuna and Sakura. He was faring well against Zabuza, both of them dead even. He was also keeping Zabuza away from killing Tazuna. Unfortunately for him, his two genin fighting Zabuza's apprentice weren't doing as well as him. The two genin were locked inside a dome of ice mirrors made by Zabuza's apprentice. Try as they might, they couldn't destroy the ice mirrors. On each ice mirror, Haku was reflected on each one. Sitting in the middle, pondering their next move, were the two genin. The two genin inside the dome looked very much alike, but they weren't related. One of the genin was named Sasuke Uchiha. He was wearing white armbands with a blue shirt. He had on white shorts and had tape around midshin going down to his ankle and ninja sandals. He also had his black hair shaped in a weird way that looked sort of like a duck's ass and had a kunai holster on his right leg. He also had cold black eyes. The other genin was named Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto an orange jumpsuit and a kunai holster on his right leg. He had his Konoha headband on his forehead. The similarities between the two genin were mainly the hair and eyes. Sasuke's hair and eyes were cold black, just like Naruto's. Naruto's hair was oddly shaped, think normal form Gohan during the Cell games. Also, Naruto and Sasuke were dodging Haku's Saban but barely. For Sasuke it was starting to get easier and easier since the Saban looked like they are slowing down. They weren't slowing down, but they looked like they were to Sasuke. At that moment, Sasuke activated the Sharingan, the signature bloodline ability of the Uchiha clan. Sasuke's eyes turned red and one tomo appeared in his left eye and two tomos appeared in his right eye. While Sasuke was thinking of a plan to beat Haku and get him out of the mirrors, Haku was taking aim at Naruto. Sasuke took a break in planning to look around and see how Naruto was doing. While he was doing that, he saw what Haku was about to do. He also saw that there was nowhere for Naruto to go. Naruto balled down into a ball, fearing for his life. Haku then threw 5 Saban on a direct course to Naruto. Somehow, Sasuke acted on reflex and sent a burst of chakra to his feet to propel him toward Naruto and take the hit for him. Haku was only looking to incapacitate Naruto, but the way that Sasuke threw himself in front of Naruto meant that all the kunai were going for fatal places. 2 kunai went in between his ribs and hit each lung. Another hit his liver. Another one went for his heart. It went through Sasuke's sternum and pierced part of his heart, causing internal bleeding. The last one hit Sasuke in his stomach. Naruto's back was turned to Haku, balled up in the fetal position. Naruto was fearing for his life, not realizing that Sasuke had just taken the hit for him. He realized what happened when he didn't feel any pain and heard the sound of the Saban entering a body. He looked up to see that Sasuke was in front of him. Sasuke fell backwards, right into Naruto's hands. Naruto had a look of horror on his face, realizing that his friend might die on him. Even though he and Sasuke hated each other, it was more of a brotherly hate. Even though neither would admit it, they depended on the other. They pushed each other to their limits, making each other faster, stronger, and better. Naruto's face turned into a look of shock and terror when he saw Sasuke fall. He said, "Sasuke, why did you do that?" Sasuke coughed, each breath getting harder to take in. He said in a hoarse voice, "I don't know. My body moved on its own." Naruto starts to speak, saying Sasuke. Sasuke put his hand up and interrupts Naruto. He said in a hoarse voice, "Hold up, Naruto. These might be my last words, and I need to say them. My dream was to kill my brother Itachi. When I was 8 he killed my whole family, and I vowed vengeance against him. After being on your team, Naruto, I see things differently. I guess your happy-go-lucky attitude rubbed off on me a little. My brother told me to hate him, despise him, and give up my life to kill him. I now realized he only wanted me to do that for his own sick entertainment. And I fell for it easily. Now I see that I don't have to do that. I don't need to give my life up for Itachi. I'm the last of my clan, and the right thing to do would be to revive it." Suddenly his voice started becoming softer and more strained. "Naruto, one of us has to finish our dream. You would end up giving your life to protect others while I would probably sacrifice everything I held special to me to kill Itachi. Live Naruto and finish your goal for the both of us. Our rivalry pushed me to be better. It pushed me to train harder, to get faster, to make myself a better fighter. In a way, you helped me become the person I am today. You've done more for me than my own blood brother." Suddenly Sasuke's eyes started becoming more dazed. It was obvious that he was fighting with all his heart to hold on. He said, "That's why I can honestly say that you are my brother more than Itachi ever was." With that, Sasuke Uchiha closed his eyes, the last bit of life leaving him. The tears that were threatening to fall from Naruto's eyes fell. Haku then says he died the true death of a shinobi. You should feel glad. Every shinobi will die in the heat of battle. He at least got to die in his friend's arms, not alone on a battlefield. But we still have a battle to complete, Naruto. And I can't allow you to harm Zabuza. Naruto looked to Haku and yelled, "Shut up." Naruto spoke through the sadness and despair he was feeling. He was able to say, You monster. You killed my best friend. I won't let you get away with this." Suddenly Naruto started shaking. He was emitting a power energy signal. It was weird. It wasn't chakra, but at the same time it was. Pebbles on the ground started lifting off of it, and floated in midair. Suddenly thunder started hitting around the bridge. All on the bridge and all in the elemental nations people started feeling a strange source of power. Zabuza and Kakashi, what is this power? It feels like chakra, but I can tell it's not. The feeling of it. It's like killing intent. Where is this stuff coming from? Is it Kakashi? No, it can't be. He's as shocked as I am. But if it's not me or Kakashi, then who is it? Thought Zabuza. Kakashi was thinking, what in the world is this feeling? This power is enormous. It's not coming from Zabuza. Sakura and Tazuna are as shocked as me and Zabuza. Sasuke can't put out that much, so that leaves the demon. Is the seal breaking? Heh, now I'll have an excuse to kill that murderer for what he did to Minato-sensei. I'll have to finish this quickly, then kill the demon. Inside Naruto's head. On the outside Naruto looked like a wreck, but on the inside, he was on a mission. Naruto was first outside in Haku's mirrors with Sasuke. Now he's suddenly in a sewer. It had candles with flames burning on them lighting the way. Naruto was still wondering where this power was coming from. So he followed his instinct and came upon a door. He pushed the door open and came to look at a cage. It went up to the ceiling and had a piece of paper that said seal on it. What he saw there was a 90-foot tall fox with blazing orange-red fur and red slitted eyes with 9 tails swishing behind it. The fox spoke up. So, my wimpy container finally gets the balls to come and see me again, eh? Naruto said, shut up you big hairy fur ball. I'm not in the mood for your smart remarks right now. I came to demand some chakra. Oh, so after 5 years of not seeing each other, you come in here and demand some chakra. Not even a friendly hello or how's it going? You're a terrible host, you know that? Naruto snapped and yelled, I'm not in the mood for your stupid jokes, Kyuubi. I vowed I would never do this because it would destroy my body from the inside out, but right now I don't care. Haku deserves to die for what he did. Now stop being a waste of valuable space and give me your fucking chakra now. I see. You got balls, kid. More than my underlings, that's for sure. You know what, I'll do you one better. I'll unlock your bloodline that the Yondaime Hokage aka Minato Namikaze aka your father locked away with the seal to keep me here. Alright, I can deal with the Yondaime being my dad. But what about my bloodline and why did my dad lock it away? Basically, kid, here's the mega short version, you're part alien. The rest you'll hear later. For now I'll unlock your powers and you kick ass. Come back here soon so I can go more into detail about it. Hold up. Why are you helping me? You were so hell-bent on destroying my village before. I'm about to die. I want to at least do something exciting before I die. Also, my attacking the village was an accident. Me and the Biju lived here long before you humans came, and we let you live in our lands. We protected you from demons because it was our territory, and they were stepping in it. I got wind of a group of people trying to capture the Biju. I was going there to Amigakure to stop it when some dumbass ninja of this village attacked me. I retaliated and it landed me in this predicament. Now go hurry up and kill that bitch. With that, Kyuubi forced Naruto out of his mindscape. Naruto and Haku. Naruto was still twitching and growing in power, and the freak thunderstorm didn't show signs of slowing down. The water under the bridge started getting rougher and swaying more. Big parts of the bridge started breaking off and broke apart into small pebbles. Naruto then started to stand up. All this time he has been sitting on his knees looking at Sasuke, while still looking down. He started randomly jerking his head up to the sky and back down, twitching insanely. When he jerked his head up, his hair turned yellow, changed shape, think Goku's hair when he is Super Saiyan, and his eyes turned into a greenish blue. While looking down, his eye colors turned all white for a moment before Naruto lifted his head up while screaming. The transformation of his eyes and hair stayed this time, and a yellow aura surrounded him. He looked towards Haku with a glare that promised pain and death to whoever was on the receiving side of it. Naruto dashed to the ice mirrors in front of him, jumped to the second row and punched where Haku's face would be. Haku saw him coming and jumped out in the nick of time. He looked forward to where he was going and saw Naruto already there. Naruto cocked his left arm back and hook punched Haku into another mirror. Haku went toward the mirror and didn't stop at it. He landed on the bridge and skidded away from the shattering ice dome. Haku looked back at the shattering ice dome and saw Naruto putting his hand on Sasuke's torso. Suddenly Naruto's aura covered Sasuke too. Sasuke's wounds started steaming and the Senbon needles started popping out. His wounds started healing also. After a while Naruto's aura started receding and Naruto stood up and looked at Haku. Then in a split second Naruto disappeared from Sasuke's side and appeared in front of Haku. He threw all his weight onto his right fist and punched. The sheer force behind the punch made the fist go right through Haku's body. Naruto retracted his fist, leaving a huge hole through Haku's body. Haku dropped off of Naruto's fist dead. Naruto flexed his muscles, forcing his yellowish fiery aura to come back over him. Naruto then yelled, his aura intensifying. Naruto caused a wind to blow through the area, blowing the fog right away. With the sun shining and the fog blown away, he saw where Kakashi and Zabuza were fighting and phased out to over there. Kakashi and Zabuza. Kakashi just used the earth style, tracking Fang Jutsu to trap Zabuza. His dogs came out of the ground, tracking the scent of Kakashi's blood on Zabuza's sword. The dogs came out and bit Zabuza, immobilizing him. Kakashi spoke, now that I have you trapped I can kill you, and then kill the real demon. Kakashi did some hand seals and grabs his right wrist with his palm facing the ground. His hand is suddenly surrounded in lightning. He then said, Zabuza, for your crimes you will die here and now. Raikiri. Just as Kakashi is about to charge, they heard a scream. They look over there to see a dead Haku with a blonde-haired person standing over him. Next thing, the mist started clearing and the blonde man disappeared. He reappears in front of Zabuza and punches him in the dead center of the chest. Zabuza's chest bends out at an irregular angle and a sickening sound was heard, clearly indicating that Zabuza's ribcage was destroyed. Zabuza had a look of shock on his face with his eyes bulged out. When Naruto pulled back, Zabuza dropped, and the dogs were dispelled. Kakashi, who was witness to this whole thing, thought the demon killed Zabuza. Great, now I can use this as an excuse to finally kill him. Kakashi charged Naruto with this Raikiri. Naruto, who gave in to this new power, sensed Kakashi's malicious intent toward him and dodged the attack, barely. He grabbed Kakashi's wrist and redirected, aka threw, Kakashi towards the railing of the bridge. Kakashi landed against the railing, his jutsu dispelling. After Kakashi's reunion with the side railing, Gato arrived with his boys and started taunting the dead Zabuza and Haku. Naruto overheard him say he hired them to attack Tazuna. Hearing that made him pissed. He was so pissed his power level rose up again. Sakura and Tazuna just looked over to see Gato's men and panicked. Naruto now looked like he was about to take someone's head off. He finally got tired and said, that's it, fat ass. I'm taking you on a one-way trip to hell right now. Gato laughed and said whoever takes out the short blonde gets paid double. All the bandits yelled and charged Naruto. Naruto smirked and said, I am so going to enjoy this. Naruto charged the bandits. What ensued was an all-out death match. Naruto got the first guy to make contact with him. The bandit tried to impale him with a pitchfork. Naruto sidestepped out of the way and grabbed the wooden part of it and pulled the man in. He grabbed him by his arm and swung him around, knocking out the others coming for him, and threw him into the one smart enough to jump back. One got up and tried to hit him overhead with a 2x4. Naruto grabbed the 2x4 and smashed it with his hand. He then head-butted the man in his chest. He turned to his right 90 degrees and front-kicked the man over there. He then jumped up and back-flipped over the guy trying to grab him by his neck. He chopped the guy in his neck, the guy falling down unconscious. He bent down and grabbed a big piece of the bridge and threw it at the bandits. They scattered, leaving a clear road to Gato. Naruto, who really wanted to kill the guy, took the opportunity and phased out, moved too fast for the human eye to see, and punched through Gato, forcing the unknown energy behind it. He didn't stay behind to see the results. While fighting the hundreds of weak bandits, he thought, I need to stop playing around. That bastard Kakashi might be waking up soon, and if he sees this he'll have reason to plead to the council to kill me. I should kill him now, but that'll make me look worse. This sucks. Better get a move on. Naruto started to suddenly phase out and didn't reappear. Next, the chest of one of the bandits busted open. Then one had blood coming out of their necks. Another dropped, clutching his throat. Similar things were happening all over to the other bandits. They all dropped until one was left. Suddenly a hole appeared in his body and he dropped. Naruto reappeared behind the man, blood mainly on his arms and legs. Naruto looked back to see a shocked Kakashi, a scared Sakura, and a grateful Tazuna. Just then the rest of the villagers arrived with Inari. They saw that the bandits were gone but were mostly surprised to see Gato's head among them. The villagers were confused since none of them had seen the guy before. There was a chance this guy just killed Gato because he wanted to take over Wave Country. Tazuna ran up to Naruto and asked the question on everyone's minds, we are very grateful of you for killing that tyrant Gato, but we must know. Who are you? Naruto replied, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, remember it. Gato is dead now and no one will suffer from the hands of maniacs like him, while I still draw a breath. The people of Wave Country are safe from people like Gato. After hearing this, the villagers became mad with joy. They were finally free from Gato and now can finally live in peace. While the others were partying, Naruto walked to Sakura. Instead of asking is Naruto was alright, she immediately says, Naruto, where's Sasuke-kun? She didn't even pay attention to his changes. Naruto then looks down and says, I'm sorry, Sakura. I couldn't get there in enough time to. Smack. Sakura just backslapped Naruto out of nowhere. You monster. You let my Sasuke-kun die. You're nothing. Nothing but a demon. Just like my mom and everyone else warned me. I wish you had died instead of my Sasuke-kun. After that they hear some coughing and look over to where it's coming from to see Sasuke sitting up. Sakura runs to him, while screaming Sasuke-kun. Sasuke ignored Sakura's constant questions and walked over to Naruto. He saw the changes to Naruto and said, what happened while I was asleep? Naruto then says, that is something you will have to ask me again when I regain consciousness. With that, Naruto drops dead sleep. In Naruto's mind, Naruto just passed out and was inside the sewers again. He walked up to the fox and asked him, okay, tell me the rest of the story. How do I fit into all of this? The Kyuubi sighed. This was gonna be a long story. He said your ancestors were a race called the Saiyans. They were elite fighters. Fighting was in their genes and they loved every minute of it. When they won a fight or were fatally wounded and recovered, their maximum energy level rose. Their bodies were specifically made for fighting. This douchebag with a fetish for purple named Frisia enslaved your entire race and forced them to go to other planets and kill all life forms there. The planet then would be sold off to the highest bidder. Your ancestor named Bardock was a third-class Saiyan warrior with the power of an elite Saiyan warrior. Others underestimated him because of his rank, and that's what caused their downfall. His squad took out a race that Frisia's elites would have trouble with. Eventually, Bardock and his team were ordered to go and destroy a race that had the ability to see into the future. Naruto interrupted, saying hold up. With that power, wouldn't they see their own demise weeks before it happened? The Kyuubi said they did. They knew the names, appearance, and battle strategies of Bardock's squad before it happened. They knew whatever happened they wouldn't be able to stand up against the Saiyans. If they defeated Bardock and his gang, more would come. Before the leader died though, he forcefully gave that ability to Bardock. The race Bardock defeated that day was one of the races that Frisia's elite had trouble defeating. When Frisia got wind of Bardock's triumph, he started getting scared that the Saiyans were about to rebel. I mean, think about it. His elites would have trouble with that planet, yet some third-class Saiyan squad killed them easily. Frisia ordered all of Bardock's squad to be killed. Bardock had to oversee the birth of his son so he wasn't at the slaughter. He got a transmission from his squad and heard his best friend get blasted. Naruto narrowed his eyes and said hold up. Frisia had their entire race enslaved and was still scared of them. Yeah. There was a legend of a Saiyan who didn't have black hair like the rest. His power grew to where his hair became gold and his eyes became a bluish green, like yours did. They called him a Super Saiyan. I know it sounds cliché, but the power that came with it was incredible. Frisia never told anyone, but he actually believed in the Super Saiyan. He was scared that one of them would make the transformation and kick his little midget ass to hell where he belonged. Now back to the story. Bardock went to inform the other Saiyans of a vision that the future sight power gave him. In that vision, Frisia destroyed their planet. The others were drunk celebrating a holiday or something. Bardock flew into space and confronted Frisia when he was about to invade their home planet. He killed some of Frisia's forces and fought Frisia but lost easily. Frisia then destroyed the planet. The Saiyans who survived were Prince Vegeta, his two bodyguards Nappa, and Raditz, who was Bardock's son. Bardock's infant son Goku was sent to another planet hours before the blast. Also, two other Saiyans named Paragus and Broly survived. Naruto said, whoa, hold your horses. How could Bardock fly? How could Frisia get a bomb big enough to destroy a planet to appear out of nowhere? And how do I fit into all this? I'm getting there, hold up. Basically, when Goku was a kid he landed on a planet named Earth. Why did you say a planet named Earth? This planet is named EA. I'm getting there. There are many planets inhabited by humans. For some reason you have no knowledge of this, and all of you named your planets the same thing. Must be an evolutionary defect or something. Anyway, Goku got adopted by this guy named Gohan. Goku was a stuck-up evil baby until he fell off a cliff and hit his head. Then, all the memories of Goku being a Saiyan were erased from his mind. Goku grew up to make friends and live peacefully. Grew up to be a fighter to protect his planet. That's basically the rundown kid. But you haven't answered my question, how do I fit into this? Your dad was a Saiyan. He was actually Goku's great-great-grandson, and came to this planet for reasons I don't even know. The only reason I even know about your race was because I cornered your dad when he touched down, and got the story out of him. How did they use all those special abilities? It sounds like chakra, but different. What was that? It's called ki, and I will tutor you in its uses. Man, now what to do? Well kid, I got an idea. The energy put a big strain on your body, so you're gonna be out of it for like 3 days. I could teach you a fighting style while we're here and a few uses of ki. In here 1 week equals 1 day in the real world. You can get a lot of training in. Cool, let's get started. Alright, I'll be teaching you a style of fighting called Taekwondo. It's an ancient fighting style that was erased from history when Rokuda Senin created modern-day ninjutsu. It's partly a defense style. They concentrate on leg strength since that is a martial artist's longest and strongest weapon. Also, you need to be really flexible. I will also be giving you chakra weights to make your kicks stronger, your speed faster, and your punching strength better. Now, change the mindscape into something better for us to fight on. How do I do that? For Kami's sake, think it up and it will appear. With that, Naruto changed the mindscape to a field. Then where the Kyuubi's cage stood there was a man with a black cloak on and a white shirt underneath. He had brown boots and 9 tails behind him with 2 big fox ears pointing out of his head. The tips of the tails and ears were white and the fur was a blood red. He had red eyes. Also he had on a black necklace, black armbands, and black ankle bands too. The figure then said, well boy, let's get started. Now first I'm gonna teach you the basics of ki, its manipulation, how to throw ki blasts, and flying. During those 3 days Naruto learned how to throw ki waves, how to manipulate ki, and also learned the basics of Taekwondo, which Kyuubi happened to be a master in. He hadn't really got the basics of flying yet. It's a hell of a lot harder than Kyuubi explained it. In his human form he had it down, but he couldn't do it in his huge fox form. Also, Kyuubi taught Naruto the Grand Fireball Jutsu, Burning Ash Accumulation Jutsu, Great Breakthrough Jutsu, Water Bullet Jutsu, Revolving Split Earth Palm Jutsu, and False Darkness Jutsu. Time skip. 3 days later, Naruto wakes up on his bed in Tazuna's house. He woke up to see that his team didn't even have the decency to wash his clothes for him. Instead of brooding over it, he got up, put the clothes on, and walked to the kitchen to see his team and Tazuna's family sitting at the table eating lunch. When they saw him, Tazuna and his family cheered and ushered him to the table and offered him some food. Sasuke had a smile on his face, but since he was still trying to keep up his cool image, went back to eating. Sakura just openly scowled at him while Kakashi was indifferent on the outside. On the inside though, he was thinking of ways to get Naruto either killed or taken out of the ninja program. After eating, Naruto left for some special training. Sasuke waited for 10 minutes and went out saying he needed to train. He found Naruto standing in a crowd of what he guessed would be 200 clones. They all had out kunai, and he was facing them alone. Sasuke hid in the trees while Naruto stood in the middle of the crowd of clones. With a wordless command, all the clones charged at once. Naruto stood there, and when a clone took a swipe at him, he just turned the top side of his body to the right, and used the momentum to let out a kick with his right foot. The clone went up in a plume of smoke. Another clone came and charged him, and he ducked the swipe, only to be kicked by another one on his left that charged him. He shook it off and got up on his knees. He looked where he felt the kick come from to see the clone shuffling over to him like it was gonna sidekick him, but the aim was off a bit. He looked right to see the same thing. Naruto waited until they were close to him, and then ducked. The attacks went past and the clones kicked each other out of existence. He then looked around to see a clone holding his hand back, then moving his hand open-palmed at him. He looked to see a ball of yellow came out and was flying at him. Naruto ducked it barely and then got a look of anger on his face and said, "If that's how you want it, fine then. Let's take it up a notch." Naruto held both of his hands behind his back where a yellow ball of light grew. He then smirked and pushed them out to the side where they went out in a beam-like form. They hit one of the clones each and went back to take 20 more. He crouched down on the ground and then jumped up with all his might. It seemed like a good idea, because not a second later the ground he was on was blasted. The blast turned upward on Naruto. But surprisingly, all the blasts sailed past him. He looked up to see all the blasts were losing speed and knew they were about to be brought down by gravity. They sailed down at an alarming rate. Naruto kept going up but blasted any that were in his way. The blasts fell back down to the clones, with some of Naruto's own blasts. In the end, 30 clones were left. At this rate, Naruto was starting to fall to the ground. He cupped his hands on his left, charged a whole mess of energy into it, and fired it off. It only looked a little bigger than other ki blasts, but had a lot more power. When it hit the ground, it blew up in a big explosion, taking the clones out. Naruto landed and surveyed the damage. There was a small crater where the blast landed and all the grass was gone. But no damage to other places. Naruto sat down trying to take a breather. He then heard clapping and looked to his right to see Sasuke standing there with a smile on his face. When got up to Naruto he said, "Well, that wasn't what I was suspecting. You went up against what looked like 200 clones and still won. What was up with that energy anyway?" I looked at it with my Sharingan and saw it wasn't chakra. "Well, Sasuke, it all started like this." Naruto then told Sasuke the entire story. Afterwards Sasuke then said, "Goddamn, first you get a crazy demon fox sealed in you, then you find out you're part alien." Naruto said, "You do realize that I just told you an S-class secret, and if you tell anyone else you'll be killed, right?" Sasuke smiled a little and said, "You don't have anything to worry about. The Uchiha clan has our own dirty little secrets that we wouldn't want to get out. Your secret is safe with me. But I want you to teach me how to use ki." "That sounds badass." "It is. But you have to promise me something, Sasuke. You have to promise me that once I teach you, you won't go running off to kill your brother." "Sasuke, there's no dishonor in waiting until you can beat him. Your clan won't be ashamed of you if you don't go after Itachi. If you try to kill him now, he will just end up killing you. And that will be the end of the Uchiha clan." Sasuke closed his eyes, reminiscing about how foolish he was before. He said, "I realized that, Naruto. After thinking about it for these few days, I realized that all Itachi wanted me for is his sick amusement, or probably some plot to make himself stronger. I'm still going to kill Itachi, but I might as well enjoy my life and what I have now." Naruto smiled and said, "That's all I ask for." With that heartwarming speech, Naruto decided to teach Sasuke about ki the rest of the day. Sasuke proved to be as fast as Naruto in picking up new things. He hadn't got ki manipulation on his first day, but neither did Naruto. Later that night in Naruto's mindscape, after helping Sasuke, Naruto decided to do some training of his own. He tried and tried but couldn't achieve Super Saiyan again. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't reach it. So that night, Naruto went into the forest of Wave Country and started to meditate. Eventually, he was able to enter his mind. His mind was the same as it was when he changed it for his training. Naruto went up to the tree that Kyuubi always slept under and asked him something. "Kyuubi, I know the only way I won that battle on the bridge was because of the Super Saiyan transformation. I need your help in reaching it again. If I want to save this planet from the horrors my dad's planet went through, I need to be stronger than him." Kyuubi got up from under the tree and said, "Kid, You're nowhere near as strong as you need to be to save this planet. From what your dad told me, his and his best friend's family theorized that the Super Saiyan power was unlocked when the Saiyan reached a certain power level. Your ancestor Goku had a power level of 4 million when he first reached Super Saiyan. They theorized that with every generation, the minimum was halved and the blood ran thin. Your minimum power level for the Super Saiyan transformation was 125,000. The only reason you reached that was because of the power-up you received from the rage you felt from seeing your best friend die. The Super Saiyan ability increased your strength, speed, stamina, endurance, everything by 50-fold. You would have been at a measly 6,250,000, a fly compared to the power levels of the people on this planet and the other planets. Even in your Super Saiyan transformation you weren't stronger than Kakashi. When Kakashi goes all out, like he was with Zabuza, he has a power level of 10 million. The only way you beat him was because he was drained from fighting Zabuza and he wasn't fully healed from his first fight with the eyebrowless freak. You're a fly compared to my own power. In my human form I can only use 1% of my real power, and I can still kill you with my eyes closed, both hands and one foot tied behind my back. Naruto after hearing this got fed up and said, I didn't come here for your ridicule. I came for a way to protect my planet. Kyuubi just sighed and said, kid, there is a way, but it is painful as hell. With my chakra, I could try to manipulate your human DNA strands to copy the Saiyan strands, but it could prove fatal. The most I can do is a half Saiyan. I don't know what will happen since I've never met a half Saiyan before. But I can change you to a half Saiyan. Do you want to do it? Naruto faced down and after a minute looked up and said, I want to do it. I want the power to save everyone on this planet. My family protected those in need for years, and I will too, said Naruto strongly. Kyuubi then said, alright, but you need to manipulate the seal that holds me back. I won't be able to do anything with that in the way. It'll take a lot of energy to do that, and this seal inhibits me too much for me to do it. I think that the seal control is somewhere over there. Kyuubi pointed to his left, where there was a mountain range there. He said go there, and you could probably find a console that manipulates how much of my energy goes into you, but that's where the monsters are. You said so yourself? Yeah, they're there to make sure no mind manipulators make it to the seal console and accidentally, or purposefully, kill you. Also, I think those monsters will be good training for you. Naruto took a big sigh, and said for the good of the earth, and set off for the mountain ranges. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto ran through the forest, and came up to a beach. He looked to his right to see a huge waterfall. He looked forward to see the river was 20 feet across. He bent down, and stuck his hand in the river. The current was strong, but the river was shallow. Naruto then put his feet in the water and proceeded to walk. As soon as he took one step, the water raised up. It started to take shape until it formed 20 duck-human hybrid kinda things. The creatures had webbed feet and webbed hands with claws on them and a tail. The heads split into 4 spikes that went up like a crown. They had bills and a ruby circular jewel in between their eyes. Their skin was blue and their bills were white with red eyes. Type in Golduck at Yahoo search. Naruto looked at them with surprise and then a glare. Then, in an instant he turned the entire top half of his body to the right. He narrowly missed the red beam of energy fired by one of the creatures and narrowed his eyes at them. He moved in and punched at the creature closest to him. The creature dodged to the left and hit him with its tail. Naruto flew back from the hit, but landed on his feet and shot an energy ball at the creature. It hit and the creature turned into water. He looked at them and thought this is gonna be easy. Naruto then focused energy in his hands and shot a beam of energy out of his hands and all of the monsters turned to water. Smirking, Naruto walked through the water until he was hit from behind. He looked to see the 20 creatures he destroyed before. Naruto just let out a big sigh and ran. He created 19 shadow clones to fight the creatures. What followed was an all-out taijutsu brawl. One of the clones kicked the creatures in the head. The creature flew back and then charged at the clone with a head but with a blue aura around it. The clone was hit square in the chest and poofed away. The other clones were battling tooth and nail. One of them was able to destroy a creature but the creature reformed behind the clone. The clone was thinking of something right before he was killed. The creature that killed him extended his claws further and slashed 4 times to kill him. With the original Naruto he just punched a creature onto land when the creature shot a red beam of energy at him. Naruto charged up a beam of energy and shot at the creature. Naruto kept the beam going to counter the creatures and eventually overpowered it, and the creature vaporized. He saw it didn't come back. When he started wondering he got some info from the clone that was beaten and looked at the waterfall. He charged up a big amount of energy and blasted the middle of the waterfall. The attack exploded, knocking the rocks in the middle of the waterfall down into the lake, showing the lake was deeper than the river. Naruto ran and caught a big rock before it sank to the bottom. With the clones guarding him, Naruto ran to the mouth of the river and set the rock down right there. All the water in the river ran downstream. Since the water was blocked, no more came to feed the river. And since there was no water to feed the river, there was no water for the creatures to stay alive with. The creatures turned to water, but this time, they didn't reform. He saw that the monsters could reform as long as there's water around. After seeing this, Naruto thought, yep. Way too easy. Naruto then went forward into the forest. Focusing ki into his legs, he was able to go 4 times faster than normal, even though it hurt like a bitch. He reached the mountain and started to climb it. He kept encountering these little rock creatures that growled at him. They threw stones at Naruto, but Naruto just got pissed and threw them off the mountain. When he got to the top, they saw a console set up there. Naruto was about to move, but when he got within 10 yards of it, an orange beam of light hit where he was at. He jumped back, and when he looked at the spot, he saw that there was a foot-deep ridge in the ground where the attack hit. He looked in the sky to see a big green dragon with black and yellow designs and 10 flaps with a red outline. It's supposed to be Rayquaza from Pokemon. He also saw walking toward him a turquoise dragon with red designs on its neck continuing to its eyebrows. The creature had a white underside with red wings and red designs on its legs and tail, Salamence from Pokemon. The monster suddenly blasted Naruto with a yellow flame-like attack. Naruto looked at it, and it fired at him again. Naruto countered with the Grand Fireball Jutsu. It's not enough, thought Naruto when the flame attacks got closer. Naruto put more chakra into the attack, just to see the creature doing the same thing. Naruto got pissed and added 20% of his chakra into the attack. It rebounded on the creature and burned it. Naruto jumped and charged up an energy beam. He was about to let it fly, but he was hit in the back by the green creature. He went flying to the turquoise one, when it let loose a red jet of fire that toasted him. Naruto got up, completely enraged, and the creature started charging at him, coming in for the kill. Now if you looked into Naruto's eyes, you would see that instead of the cold black they are in this FIC, they were turning a bluish green, and that his black hair had small streaks of gold in it. Naruto stopped the turquoise creature with his right foot, and stopped the green dragon with his left hand. He then flared his power so it would make an invisible force field around him. The creatures were pushed away by the force field. Naruto held out his hands at both of the creatures and let loose energy beams at them. The green creature was able to dodge but was hit in his tail, and 2 of the flaps there fell off. The blue one was hit square in the head and was down for the count. Naruto turned to the green creature, completely running on his Saiyan instincts. He saw the creature trying to circle around him and flew up to the creature and punched it right in between the eyes. The creature reared back in shock and started to charge Naruto. Naruto flew over the creature's head and blasted at the creature's midsection, taking off another flap. Naruto saw the creature charge up a transparent blue ball in its mouth. Naruto flew all around all crazy like, knowing he was about to be blasted. When it came, Naruto dodged it and looked the creature square in the eyes. He saw a malicious glint in its eyes and turned around. He saw the thing coming back at him. He thought, oh shit, and got blasted. Naruto fell down and hit the mountaintop. When he fell down, he found himself not looking at the mountaintop. He was looking at a man with blue and green armor with an X-shaped scar on his left cheek. He had on a red headband, red wrist and ankle bands with blue and green shoes on. He was charging at a big group of people. He was piled up on by 100 people, but flared his energy and blew them away. He kept flying at a disc-shaped ship. He flew up there and charged up an attack in his right hand. He then threw it at something at the ship. Naruto couldn't tell who or what the guy threw it at. His view was from behind Bardock, so he couldn't see Frieza. The vision then cut to a guy who looked like the other one, but had on an orange karate gi with blue wristbands and undershirts, no scar, and black boots. If you don't know who this is, you shouldn't even be reading this story. He started charging up an attack with both hands cupped behind his back. He was also saying a chant. Kamehameha. When he finished the chant, he moved his hands to in front of him. When he did, a big blue beam of energy erupted from his hands. It traveled and hit a huge green person with antennas on his head, Demon King Piccolo. The vision then ended abruptly. Naruto was back on the mountain. The creature was still there and looked like it was about to charge. Naruto had to think fast, and then thought back to the vision. Those attacks, they just might work, thought Naruto. He started charging up a lot of energy in his right hand to the point that it was visible. He then shaped it into a ball. He made the ball bigger and bigger, until he couldn't see his hand in it anymore. The green creature chose this time to attack. As Naruto was about to unleash the attack, he got the sudden feeling of calling something out. He went with his instincts and shouted Riot Javelin, and let the attack go. It collided with the beast and made a big smoke screen. Naruto used this time to think of how to kill it. If the attack hurt the creature, then it probably won't take another hit in the head like that. I gotta distract it somehow. Naruto then did the Shadow Clone Jutsu. All of you, hit that thing with attacks as much as you can. Stall him. All the Narutos flew up and surrounded the creature, except the real one that flew above it. He started charging up his attack, knowing it would take a couple of tries to get it right. Under him, the Narutos were doing an excellent job holding the creature. They beat it closer and closer to the ground where one was waiting, and that one used the underground projection fish to drag the dragon into the ground. The others saw this and half of them went under to help while the others punched him in the head until he went down. They said, "It's all yours, boss," and vanished. Naruto then charged the attack in his hand and chanted Kamehameha. And the attack fired. It continued and hit the creature in the head. The creature let out a scream of pain and slipped into unconsciousness. Naruto touched down and looked around. He then ran for the console before those creatures wake up. Although they did look familiar to Naruto, he brushed it off and went to the console. He saw that it was set so he could tamper with it. He set it up so more of the Kyuubi's chakra could be used. With that done, he flew back to where the Kyuubi was, avoiding the weird and fierce-looking animals in the sky. Time skip. When he found the Kyuubi, he saw he was covered in what looked like shavings of wood, and he was whittling it into a fox. He walked up to Kyuubi and said, "What the hell are you doing? Whittling, why?" Came the smart remark from the Kyuubi. "Naruto went through a lot of shit today, so he just said, why didn't you tell me the monsters were that strong? I never made it that far. The seal keeps me from going 100 feet away from here. And it's your fault. You're the one that imagined them to be the guardians of something that large." "What are you saying?" "Those creatures are from your imagination. Remember before the villagers destroyed your TV? You used to watch a show called Pokemon all the time. Those were some of the creatures you thought were the strongest. In this place all 493 of them live here. The strongest guard the seal console," said Kyuubi calmly. "Alright, so can we get this started already before I lose my patience?" said Naruto impatiently. "Alright kid, be ready to scream," said Kyuubi. Then a red aura surrounded Naruto, followed by a pain-induced scream. 6:00 and land of waves. Naruto wakes up and yawns loudly. He stands up and opens his eyes. He looks around to wonder where the hell he is, until the changes come back to him. He runs to a stream to see that his hair is jet black and his eyes are black. There was no change there, but he felt a lot stronger for some reason, and felt like he had a lot more energy. Naruto thought to himself, what is this? That, my boy, is the power of a full-fledged Saiyan warrior. What the hell is that? Naruto thinks. Who the hell you think it is? Kyuubi? Duh, you weakening the seal let me communicate with you through thoughts. What happened to me? You became a half Saiyan. You have more stamina than ever, your power has doubled at the least, and your skin is a lot harder. So this is the power of a Saiyan. Damn, does it feel good. I can't believe this feeling of power. I feel like I can do anything, and there lies the flaw and greatest power of a Saiyan. With all that power, some have let it go to their heads, creating those like the legendary Super Saiyan from 1,000 years ago who didn't know how to control it and blew up an entire planet, and those like Goku and his friends who kept pushing Super Saiyan to the max, discovering 3 unidentified levels of Super Saiyan. You have to be careful, Naruto. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's why the second Hokage made the village council. I've seen tons of demons who thought they were hot shit get blown up because they were too penis. Why? Alright. But wait, there's more levels of Super Saiyan? Boy, focus on the first, then go to other ones. I would suggest you use your popularity with the wave people to get some weights. And some clothes. God, you have no taste in style, do you? Ignoring Kyuubi, Naruto ran to the village and waved to see that the people were back to normal. Although when he was seen, they started treating him like a celebrity. Not letting the treatment get to him, Naruto went to the only tailor shop in Wave Country. Naruto went into the shop and rang the bell on the desk to see a middle-aged man wearing blue pants and a white shirt came out. Hello, Naruto. I've been meaning to do business with you, said the man. How do you know my name? Said Naruto confusingly. Well, the entire country knows your name. You saved us from Gato and our economy is getting better without the crazy taxes he made us pay. By the way, my name is Tenzo and I'm the village tailor. So what can I do for you? Asked Tenzo. Well, I need some clothes custom made. Okay, just tell me what to make and I'll do it. It's on the house, by the way. Thanks. Also, I need some weights. Do you have any? Said Naruto and got to work making the suit. When he was through, he gave the design to Tenzo, who told him to come by in a week to pick it up. He also gave Naruto some weights. They were chakra activated, so he had to focus chakra into them to make them weigh more, but it was easy for Naruto. 1 week later, Wave Country. After avoiding his sensei and Sakura for the past week, Naruto was on his way to the tailor's shop to pick up his clothes. He walked in the shop to see Tenzo expecting him. Hey Naruto. I got the new suit you wanted me to design for you. It came out really good. He showed Naruto to the back to see a black fighting GI hanging from a clothes rack. It had a V-cut going down to the chest. Also the GI was sleeveless with pants hanging beside them. On the desk in front of them was a dark red short-sleeved shirt, belt, bandana, and wristbands. They looked to go with the GI. He also saw black and red boots by them. Basically Goku's fighting GI except black where orange should be, red where blue should be, Bardock's bandana, and the shoes have a red design, instead of an orange one. Also his village headband is tied around his left bicep. He found them to fit perfectly. He thanked Tenzo and left the store. Naruto ran to the place he was at before and tried to practice flying again. Naruto got the basics of the technique, and was determined to do it, but trying to do something and succeeding in doing it weren't the same thing. Naruto closed his eyes, took out the chakra from the weights, and concentrated. He felt his ki and forced it below him. He felt something weird under him, but he guessed that was the effect of levitating. The new half-Saiyan kept focusing his ki until he felt a strong draft. He also found it harder to breathe and felt huge gusts of wind that almost knocked him over. Wondering what the hell was doing that, Naruto opened his eyes and saw something incredible. He saw the entire town capital of Wave Country from a bird's eye view. Naruto was so high up, he couldn't see where he originally took off at. All he could see was a huge area of dark green. He also saw how far the bridge was in completion. From what he saw, it was close to the shore of Fire Country, but he was unbelievably high in the sky. Taking in the scenery, Naruto was so amazed by what he saw that he forgot to keep focusing chakra into his legs. Needless to say, he fell. Feeling a weird sense of vertigo, Naruto started panicking. He would have kept panicking if he didn't remember his lessons. Naruto took a deep breath, and focused ki around him to levitate in the air. After regaining his bearings, he tried to move in the air. After reviewing his lessons in his mind and applying them, he was soon making laps around the clearing. After touching down, Naruto decided to test how far he could fly. Not knowing where he would end up, Naruto took his headband and left it at the clearing. If he landed in hostile territory, he didn't want anything on him to tie him back to Konohagakure. Naruto just hoped that his headband would be there when he got back. After taking a small breath, Naruto took off again and flew from Wave Country. He turned to his left, and kept flying for an hour. While he was flying, he saw the scenery change. First, he saw the ocean between the island of Wave Country and Fire Country. Eventually, the blue of the ocean turned to the light green of meadows. It then changed into the dark green of a forest. The last change was from the forest to the desert. Feeling the drain from flying, Naruto decided to stop in the next town. Seeing one coming up, Naruto started to slow down and descend. He eventually made a clean, smooth, and quiet landing on the top of a building. He ran behind the building and jumped off the top. He then walked around the town, trying to find somewhere he would get some food before he went back to Wave Country. Not seeing a restaurant anywhere, Naruto walked around until he saw a convenience store. He walked in and bought a map of the elemental countries, trying to find out where he was at. Looking at it, Naruto was met with shock. He had made it all the way to Wind Country on the other side of the elemental countries. Even better, this town was only 10 miles away from Sunagekure no Sato, the village hidden in the sand. Damn, I'm good, thought Naruto. Naruto walked around the village until his energy came back. He saw that the other people were looking at him confusingly. Naruto guessed that the village had never seen his clothing style, so they were intrigued about it. Naruto ignored them and kept walking, but not watching where he was going. He bumped into a guy who looked like he had on a big black cat suit without the tail. On his chest was a big circle with the left side yellow, and the other side being red. He had on black sandals. He was wearing makeup, and carrying something wrapped in white gauze on his back like a book bag. He was with another guy with red hair. This guy carried a big sand gourd tied around his chest by a brown belt, and a white sash. He had on black pants and a black shirt with a fishnet shirt underneath. His shins were wrapped with bandages and he had a tattoo over his left eye. He had no eyebrows and dark rings around his eyes. There was a girl with them who looked to be the oldest. I'm not going to describe her because you should already know what she looks like. That, and I don't know what the fuck that dress thing of hers is called. When the catsuit guy got up, he said, "Hey, watch where the hell you're going next time, runt, or I'll wipe the desert with your face." Naruto glared at the catsuit guy. He'd been made fun of because of his height all his life. Before, he wouldn't have done anything, but for some reason, he felt like standing up to the guy. Naruto said, "Who are you calling a runt?" The cat guy said, "You." Naruto said, "Come down here and say it to my face." The guy said, "Why don't you grab a ladder and say it to mine?" Naruto kept glaring at him, then smirked and punched the guy in his chest. Not expecting that, the guy was doubled over in pain. Naruto smirked, then said, "Hey look, now we're about the same height." He then punched the guy in his face, knocking him back 5 feet. He got up and took off the package on his back. The girl said, "You aren't really going to use Crow against him, are you?" "I mean, if you give him the chance, I'm sure he'll say he's sorry. All he did was bump into you." The guy said, "Shut up, Temari. I'll do what I want. If he wants to die so badly, I say let him." The girl, named Temari, said, "Well, if you die, don't expect me to take your sorry carcass to Father Kankuro." Kankuro retorted, "Good, because I won't need you to." Now where were we? Kankuro pulled a string off of the package and a puppet in a torn black t-shirt was there. Kankuro said, "Now, let me introduce you to Crow." Naruto looked at the puppet. He thought, how the hell would a puppet help this guy fight? Puppets are used with string and he has none, unless his thoughts were interrupted when the puppet suddenly came to life and attacked him. Naruto, acting on reflexes, jumped out of the way. He looked at the dummy as it fired out Saban from its mouth. Knowing the damage they could cause firsthand, Naruto jumped over them and shot an energy blast at the little puppet. It barely dodged the blast, but the puppet got singed a little. As Naruto was falling to the ground, he felt something hit his chest. All of a sudden, he fell through a purple mist. "Wait, what the hell is this?" was what Naruto was thinking as he landed on the ground. As soon as he landed, he felt that his blood was flowing faster. Well, he was in a battle so that would be expected, but it was flowing faster than it usually does. While he was pondering this, the purple mist he fell through started to dissipate, leaving Naruto standing there unaffected. Kankuro stood there shocked. He then yelled, "What the hell? My special poison should have infected you and knocked you unconscious." Naruto looked at him with a glare. "You tried to poison me? Too bad for you, I'm poisoned by the people in my village almost every day. My blood has become the ultimate antidote for poison, so that won't work on me. Now let's continue this warm-up." Kankuro, cured of his astonishment, sent Crow to attack Naruto again. Naruto didn't know what the hell he was doing, but knew it had something to do with the puppet. Naruto ran up to Kankuro and was about to punch him when he felt something all around him. He realized that Crow had him in a bear hug with kunai sticking out of every one of his joints. Naruto knew that his skin was harder than ever, but he still felt the kunai digging into him, and it hurt like hell. Naruto concentrated energy to all around him and sent it out in an explosive wave. This blew Crow apart. Naruto kneeled down to catch his breath, and walked up to Kankuro. He saw Kankuro on both knees in astonishment. He looked up to see Naruto above him, and then smirked, and moved his index finger. Crow's head shot up and charged at Naruto's back. Naruto, who saw the hand motion, turned around and fired a ki blast at the puppet head. On the sidelines, the red-headed kid and Temari were mildly surprised. They never saw anyone take out their brother's puppet that fast. While Temari was about to go and scold him a little, the redhead did something a little over the top. The redhead said, "Kankuro, you're an embarrassment to our village. Shut up now and come on or I'll kill you." Kankuro said BB, but it was him that started it. Gaara. "I don't care. Now let's go. By the way, what's your name?" Naruto was a little confused. Kankuro looked older than Gaara, but Kankuro was downright scared of him. Also, the feel of his power just pushed all of Naruto's danger buttons instantly. He was wondering what this was when the Kyuubi decided to speak. "Kid, that power is that of the Shukaku, the one-tailed Tanuki demon. I never knew that he was sealed." Meanwhile, a similar conversation was happening in Gaara's head. "Be wary of that boy. He has Kyuubi scent. He might be his jailer." Gaara was shocked as nothing could make that damn Tanuki shut up except blood. "Anyway," Naruto answered, "my name is Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara of the desert. That," pointed to Kankuro, "is my idiotic brother Kankuro, and she," he pointed to Temari, "is my sister Temari. We are the kids of the Yondaime Kazekage. I know this isn't my place to be asking, but what are you doing this far from Sunagakure?" At first, Temari wasn't about to answer him. But something about the black-haired kid made her trust him. Temari answered, "We're on a mission. There's a crime syndicate here ran by a man named Taiseki. He used to be a jounin in the Hidden Rock village, but he became a missing nin. We hear that he's making an underground army that's not approved by Wind Country's daimyo. We were sent here to kill Taiseki and disband his army." Gaara said, "Let's go, Temari. We don't need to be telling out business to foreign people. Look at the way he dresses. It's obvious he isn't from Wind Country. Anyway, I look forward to fighting you, Kyuubi." That got a little reaction out of Naruto, but he smirked and said, "Okay, you better bring your best, Shukaku, or I'll kick your ass." The two looked at each other with a fire burning in their eyes. From the looks they were giving each other, you could tell that they wanted to fight then and there, but both knew that they couldn't do that. By now it was approaching night, and the Sand team had to be at the town hall by sunset. He bade them goodbye and looked around for some place to sleep. He couldn't fly home since he wouldn't be able to see where he was going. Naruto just decided to sleep on top of a building. As he was about to drift off to sleep, he heard a scream. Naruto got up instantly and followed where he heard the scream. He got there to see two men in a black vest with black undershirt with a golden dragon design on the front. They also had on black pants and boots. They also had swords and sheaths on their waist. They were dragging a woman by her arms somewhere. Naruto followed on top of the buildings. One of them said, "Stop screaming, girl, or I'll find something to gag you with." The other man said, "Yeah, gag? Ha ha, good one, Harry." Harry then brought his sword sheath up and smacked the other person in the head, saying, "Shut up, Marv." The author chuckles at his reference to Home Alone. The woman screamed for help again, but none came. They stopped, and Harry took out his sword. He rested it on the woman's collarbone next to her neck. That's when Naruto couldn't take any more and jumped off the building top. He floated down, landing without a sound. He charged up 2 ki blasts and blasted the 2 goons. Harry and Marv fainted from the pain on the spot, freeing the woman. She said hastily, "Thank the heavens for you. They were about to take me." Naruto questioned, "Take you where?" A familiar voice said, "To their hideout." He turned around to see the Suna siblings again. They all had irritated looks on their faces. Temari stepped out and said they were a part of a group of people called the Golden Dragons. Their leader is Taiseki. They're the crime syndicate I mentioned earlier. You just blew our way of finding out where their hideout is. Naruto glared at them. So you were gonna let her be captured so you could follow them to their hideout? Do you know how stupid that plan is? They could have led you to a trap. Also, what if you couldn't save her? What would have happened then? Kankuro replied, "The Golden Dragons have been putting a lot of pressure on the mayor of this town. They kidnapped people to put even more pressure on him, making it look like he was to blame for the trouble. The dragons were hoping to have the people of the village force the mayor to step down. They would then have Taiseki run a dirty campaign for mayor. They would then replace the police force with their army and control the city." She was bait to find their base, but you just scrapped that plan. "Now what do we do? Have any others been captured?" Temari answered, "A lot of people. They're all being held at this compound we can't find anywhere. If they've been kidnapping people, where are they kept? They are kept at holding bays probably. We don't know. We would have if..." Alright, I get it. What do we do?" Gaara then decided to butt in. It's only us. You're not helping us in any way. Why don't you just go back to where you came from? Because being here is a hell of a lot more fun. Now what do I got it? Said Naruto spontaneously. Kankuro said got what? Would they let people of this village join their group? Temari then said I think they might. Why? Naruto said I'll join them. I'll learn their security layouts and help you get in and bust the golden dragons. Kankuro then blurted out what? That has got to be the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Naruto then said no it's not. Think about it. If I join and they find out I'm a spy, they can't connect me to you since me and Kankuro fought, and they would think I was working for someone else. Also, they don't know where I'm from, so they can't pin the blame on anyone. Also, if worst comes to worst I could bust all the people out of there. It's foolproof. Temari said you can't take out the golden dragons all by your. Gaara chose this time to cut and leave it Temari. If he wants to go on a suicide mission then I say let him. If he lives, we get this mission done earlier than we expected. If he dies, well it's his fault. I vote for doing it. Kankuro said he seems strong, I say let him do it. Either way we get paid. Temari sighed alright, if the idiot wants to die then I say let him. Naruto smiled and said don't worry, I'm not gonna die. I'm a lot stronger than others are. So how will we do this? 4 days later, Naruto joined the Golden Dragons the next day. He went to the streets and beat up some random thugs to earn a reputation with them. They had an initiation test for him where he would have to go against 10 of their thugs at once. Flashback, Naruto was just about to start the initiation test of the Golden Dragons. Naruto waited until a man with gray hair and brown NBU armor came out of the crowd. He had a hidden rock village headband on his forehead and wrapped around his head. The headband had a golden dragon wrapping over it. So did the armor and the black clothes worn underneath. The man said I am Taiseki, leader of the Golden Dragons. You want to join us you gotta be able to fight the part. Here's a few of our forces. Let's see how you handle them. Boys don't hold back now. That's when the guys started to move in. They were all wearing black vests and pants with golden dragons going down the pant legs and a tattoo of a golden dragon on their faces. There was also one coiling around itself on the backs of their vests. Anyway, the guys moved in on Naruto. Naruto, having been training for a while, dodged the punch thrown by one of them in front of him, and jumped over the sweep thrown by one on the right of him. Naruto let out his right leg and caught the guy in his face. He then landed and jumped at the guy who failed to punch him. He turned to the right in a full circle while pulling out his right leg. As he turned the leg went off and hit the guy on the right side of his face. Naruto then got an irritated look on his face as a guy tried to break his head in with a 2x4 piece of wood. Naruto turned around and grabbed the guy by his throat. He threw him as far as he could to the right, taking out 2 guys. Naruto then punched a guy on his left, while blocking a punch from the right with his right arm, and a kick from in front of him with his right leg. Naruto grabbed the guy on his right by his arm, and jumped off his left leg. He brought his left leg up to the side of the guy in front of him, while turning to the right to punch the other guy with his left arm. While Naruto was trying to get up, the last 4 came and tried to beat him down. The 2 who were knocked down by the guy Naruto threw got back up. Naruto just took the kicks and grabbed one of them by their leg and threw him into another. He then rolled out of the way of another kick and got back up. Naruto waited while the 2 charged him. He waited and waited until the last second. That's when Naruto jumped. The 2 guys were going too fast to stop. They were so blinded by their rage at Naruto that they didn't see a brick wall behind Naruto. They ran into it and knocked themselves out. Naruto walked to the knocked out thugs and threw them all in a big pile. He looked at Taiseki and said next. Taiseki started clapping his hands and said my, impressive Tsubomisumi, you can consider yourself a member of the Golden Dragons. Naruto, Tsubomisumi, had a grin spread upon his face at that statement. Naruto had to put on a whole new facade for this mission. He cut his hair to where it was only half an inch tall, got on all dark red clothes, had on bright blue contacts, and changed his accent so he would sound differently. Well, if that was the only thing I had to do, your group must really suck. I beat those guys without even bleeding. Well, you'll find being in this organization a lot harder than you can imagine. What the hell does that mean? You'll find out in due time. You can come here at the crack of dawn tomorrow to pick up your jacket and get your room. End flashback. Since then, Naruto had been living at the apartment buildings surrounding the warehouses. They hadn't had him kidnap people from off the streets. They had him moving boxes and doing manual labor. They were also training him and the other thugs to fight properly. Right now, Naruto was in his room watching the sky. One of the thugs who watched his initiation came in and said, "Come on, we got a job to do." Today was the day that they were moved up to watching over the prisoners taken by the people. Naruto had been dreading this day. He knew that he would have to look at the hopeless faces and begging of the villagers. He didn't know if he could take it. He had leaked all their plans to the Suna trio and they were planning to attack tonight. Naruto would just have to hold it in until then. When Naruto got to the warehouse, he went to the basement and saw that all the people were chained up to the wall by their wrists and ankles and being beaten with a whip. Naruto had to force himself to not fire at the guy whipping the girl with the 4 ponytails. Naruto turned around from the prisoners and was about to patrol the building until he did a double take. 4 ponytails, aquamarine eyes, that was Temari. Naruto couldn't hold himself back at that point. He charged at the guy whipping Temari and punched him in the back of the head. The guy fell down, unconscious before he hit the floor. Naruto jumped over Temari's head to break the chains that kept her elevated off the floor. He then broke the ones keeping her ankles locked up. He looked at her and said, "Come on, let's get you out of here." He picked her up bridal style and jumped over the horde of thugs there. He kicked down the door and then phased out of sight to the top of a building 2 blocks away. He set down Temari. She looked at him with a small tint of red on her face and said, "Damn. I thought I was a goner. Thanks for the save, Naruto." "I owe you." Naruto smirks at her with a huge fox-like grin and says it was nothing. "It was the least I could do. Besides, what kind of person would I be if I didn't help?" Temari blushed more and said, "So? I think we need to find Gaara and Kankuro and take them out before they take out the city." Naruto got a little nervous and said, "Yeah, I guess we had better get going then." Temari was about to walk away until she realized that they were on the roof of a building. She then turned to Naruto and said, "How are we going to get down?" Naruto looked at her and said, "That's easy." He then picked her up bridal style out of nowhere and jumped down. Temari looked at him while he was crazy and was about to scream, until they reached the ground and nothing happened. They landed safely. She then hit Naruto on the head and said, "What the hell were you doing? Do you know you could have killed me?" Rubbing the bump on his head, Naruto said, "Can we go find your brothers now?" She then forgot her anger at Naruto and said, "Oh yeah. And don't think you're off the hook." "What? Did you think I would forget?" Naruto, in a deadpan voice, said, "Kinda." Temari snorts and said, "You're not even worth the energy." 20 minutes later, City Hall. Naruto and Temari caught up with the Suna brothers at City Hall. When they told them, Kankuro shouted, "What?" at the top of his lungs. Gaara even got a look of rage on his face, which was really surprising since he barely showed emotion. Naruto looks at Temari and said, "Oh yeah, how did you get captured anyway?" Kankuro then screams, "Idiot. You save her and you don't even ask her how she was captured. You dumbass." Naruto, ignoring that comment, said, "Anyway, how did you get captured?" "They overpowered me. It turns out the thugs they hire are taught some jutsu. I wasn't carrying my fan and was beaten down." "Oh yeah?" said Kankuro. He reaches into his suit and pulls out a storage scroll. He unrolls it and puts his hands in it. When he pulls them out, they are holding on to Temari's battle fan. "Here you go. I found it a couple miles from here." Naruto said, "It sounds like you rely on your fan too much if you asked me." Temari got a mad look on her face and bashed his head and saying, "Who asked you?" Naruto rubbed his bruise, again, and muttered, "You need anger management classes." After he composed himself, he said, "So when do we destroy the place? I want to end this as soon as possible." Gaara then took command, saying, "We'll attack tonight. I want this over now." Kankuro then said, "I got no choice but to agree." Temari said, "Might as well. There's no arguing with Gaara when he gets like this." Gaara then said, "Good." Naruto then said, "All right then." The compound has one basement, a floor level, and another floor above it. On the ground floor there's a staircase to the basement. You three will make a distraction to draw all the thugs over to the east side. There you will stall them, not kill them. Then I will go down to the basement through the stairway on the left side and free the prisoners. Then we kill the guards and kill Taiseki. We get in, we get out, you get paid, I get to fight, everyone wins. Temari said, "The plan sounds too simple." "It sounds simple because this is simple. We don't need to keep anyone alive. We don't need to hold back. We just need to save the prisoners and kill everyone else. Now let's go. We need to time this right." With that, the Suna siblings and Naruto set off. 30 minutes later, Naruto and the Suna siblings had arrived at the compound. Naruto turned around and said to them, "Hold up a second." Naruto then phased out. The Suna trio was waiting there, surprised at his speed. They heard small bangs in the distance, and suddenly Naruto was in front of them. Naruto said, "All right, I just knocked out their cameras. They won't see you coming. You guys know what to do." The Suna siblings nodded and Naruto ran around to the entrance of the warehouse waiting for the Suna siblings. The plan was that they would bust up the wall opposite the entrance. That would provide enough of a distraction for Naruto to get down to the basement. When he freed everyone, he would lead them up through the hole that the Suna siblings made. Then they would kill the guards. Naruto didn't have to wait long since he heard a big explosion and then heard all the machines shutting down. Naruto ran into the compound looking for the stairs. He found them on the opposite wall. He ran for them but found some of the thugs coming for him. They did some hand seals and shouted fire style, fireball jutsu. Naruto quickly made 2 shadow clones and they both did hand seals and said wind style, great breakthrough. A great gust of wind came and blew the fire attacks away. The real Naruto kept going while the fakes jumped to the left to get a lot of the golden dragons on one side. They each did different hand seals. One yelled out fire style, burning ash accumulation. He blew out a black mist of ash that covered the thugs when the other let out his jutsu wind style, great breakthrough. The first shadow clone clicked his teeth to make the ash explode. The breakthrough jutsu added more power to the fire, and killed the thugs. Naruto got to the stairs and went to the basement. He walked in to see that there was 5 more guards. When they saw him they all assumed fighting stances. Naruto smirked and jumped down. When he landed, he found the people on him immediately. He took a punch to the face, then a kick to the stomach and got dropkicked by a third person. Naruto flew and hit a wall. The thug who punched him said that was way too easy. Naruto smirked and disappeared from their eyes. He then appeared behind them and then did some hand seals and yelled out lightning style, false darkness. Naruto held out both of his hands and a black mass of electricity appeared between them and shot at the thugs. It took the shape of a fox and sliced through all of the thugs. Naruto walked around to see that the people cut prisoner were happy to see him. They watched the fight and it was easy to see that he wasn't with the golden dragons. Naruto broke the chains that bound them and showed them all the way out with him leading the group. When they got up to the ground floor he saw that the Suna team was being overwhelmed. Naruto created 10 more shadow clones to join the 2 that were guarding the stairs. They ran out to take on some of the thugs while one stayed behind to escort the people out. Naruto then charged up ki in his right hand until he thought he had enough. He threw it out while yelling out riot javelin. The attack flew out and exploded taking out 20 thugs. Naruto ran over to where the explosion was and started to savagely beat the thugs apart. The Suna siblings took that as a signal to not hold back and started fighting back. Gaara used his control over sand to surround people and started smashing them all at once. Kankuro let out the reassembled crow and got behind Temari. She flapped her battle fan to show 3 purple moons on it. Crow folded back its arms at the elbows and shot out 4 purple pellets. Temari then swung her battle fan with all of her might and screamed out wind style. Cutting whirlwind, a whirlwind flew out and hit the pellets. The pellets exploded and spread a purple mist around all of the thugs and the mist entered the cuts the whirlwind made. And the thugs dropped unconscious. The Suna siblings then ran to Naruto. He showed them to the stairs and went up to the 3rd floor. When they got there they saw that the room was bare with all the lights cut off. The lights then cut on and there sat Taiseki with 50 armed guards around him. He said, My, impressive. You were able to defeat over 100 guards and free the prisoners. Now you will face my elite. Get ready, cause you're gonna die. Leave none alive. The guards charged at Naruto and the Suna siblings. Naruto took off to fight the guards while the trio took them out from a distance. He jumped over one and blasted another with a ki blast. He twisted and kicked another one. He jumped up high and fired off a riot javelin. It exploded taking 5 of the guards away with it. He then fell down and charged another guard. He punched him in the face, then kicked him in the stomach to knock out 3 guards behind him. Naruto then focused ki into his arms and let out a big energy blast taking out 5 more. Naruto then did some hand seals and called out fire style, burning ash accumulation jutsu. He did more and then called out wine style, great breakthrough. He then clicked his teeth to make the deadly combination explode, taking out 15 more. The others were taken care of by the Sand siblings. Naruto turned to face Taiseki to see that he was already standing. Him and Naruto looked at each other and charged. They dashed at each other meeting at the center with punches thrown. They then met in an all-out taijutsu brawl. They were throwing and dodging punches like it was as routine as breathing air. They barely landed any hits at all. Eventually Naruto started getting tired and pushed ki through his entire body making him faster and stronger, but damaging his innards. Naruto then started hitting Taiseki with a barrage of kicks and punches. He then swats him away. He pulls both arms back and charges up ki in them. He then yells Cyclone Buster. He then fires multiple shots at Taiseki. Taiseki, just getting up, takes them all in the chest. Naruto then phases away and reappears with his left palm in Taiseki's face. He then says time to die. He charges up a big ball of energy, and lets it go at point-blank range. Naruto then turns around to face the Suna trio. They finished and killed all of the guards. Naruto only killed 25, 5 with Riot Javelin, 5 with Ki Blast, 15 with Burning Ash Breakthrough. Naruto was about to compliment them when he felt the building shake. He looked around to see that the entire place was about to come down. He saw that it was from his fight with Taiseki. He then blasted a hole in the wall, and dived out of the building that way. He saw that Gaara called up sand to surround his entire family, and teleported them to a roof nearby. Naruto flew up to the roof to join them. They were about to celebrate until they heard Gaara grunt out in pain. All wasn't well with Gaara. Shukaku saw through Gaara's eyes that Naruto was a strong opponent. Shukaku, being a psychomaniac, kept telling Gaara to kill Naruto. Gaara tried to resist, but couldn't no matter how much he tried. The others circled Gaara to try to help him until he grunted Shukaku, stay away from me. He then jumped from the building to get as far away from the others as he could. Naruto was wondering what that was until Kyuubi decided to but in Naruto, it's the Shukaku. It's trying to take over Gaara. But why? Shukaku must have seen your abilities. He was always bouncing checks his ass couldn't cash. If we don't help Gaara, he could lose whatever part of him is still in there resisting the Shukaku. Naruto took off to the air trying to find Gaara. He found Gaara and touched down by him. Hey Gaara, you okay? Gaara turned to him and said in a voice that didn't belong to Gaara, oh, I'm more than okay, I'm free. Naruto looked into Gaara's eyes to see that they were different. They were yellow with a big black diamond in the center and a yellow dot in the diamond. There were black designs surrounding the diamond on the edge of the eye. Kid, those are the eyes of Shukaku. He's free. You gotta beat him now before he causes more damage. Naruto looked at the Shukaku-possessed Gaara and said, damn, I have my work cut out for me. 5:30 Unnamed Town Wind Country. Naruto tensed as he heard what the Kyuubi told him. He didn't know much about demons, but he knew that the Biju had big-ass forms, and that the jailed ones could turn into those big-ass forms if they have control of their jailer's body. Don't let him breathe, even for a second. If you do, you'll regret it. Q to be loved by Papa Roach or across the nation by Union Underground. Naruto flew at Shukaku Gaara, trying to defeat him before the big form came. Naruto threw a right hook, but came across Gaara's ultimate sand defense. His wrist was caught by the sand, and Naruto knew that he had to get out before his wrist was broken. Naruto pulled back and tried to kick, but he was intercepted by the sand defense again. Naruto tried to hit Gaara with all types of attacks, but was caught every time. He then created 9 shadow clones and made them use the burning ash accumulation jutsu. The Kage Bunshin breathed the ash on Gaara, getting Ti caught in his sand. They then detonated the gas, entrapping the Shukaku-possessed Gaara in a dome of glass. The clones and the original Naruto all attacked the dome together. They ran in and started punching through the glass ball. They were able to get some hits in on Gaara, but he was able to bring up another defense and blow them away. Don't hold back, kid! Naruto faced Gaara, and started to fire at him rapidly. After shooting an uncountable amount of ki blasts, he fired a riot javelin into the cloud of yellow dust. Ha ha! GTA motherfucker, 10 points. You watch way too much TV. After the dust blew away, he saw Shukaku Gaara there with a hole in his shirt and a singed belly, and the shield was down. Naruto focused ki through his entire body, and zoomed over to Gaara. He then landed a punch on Shukaku Gaara's face, stomach, chest and a kick to the head for good measure. His kick sent Gaara rolling backwards and off the roof they were fighting on. When Shukaku landed on the ground, he was absorbed into it. Then all the sand around, which was a hell of a lot, gathered around where Shukaku Gaara used to be. Holy shit, this can't be good. Naruto shielded his eyes so no sand could get into them, and then heard an inhuman roar. He looked up to see that the Shukaku was standing over him. Watch out, kid! Naruto took that time to run. He phased out, avoiding the thrashing of the Shukaku, and the chunks of the building they were standing on. Naruto flew above Shukaku and aimed riot javelins at each of the Shukaku's shoulders. The arms fell off, but reformed instantly. Naruto flew 20 feet above the Shukaku's head. Naruto turned his body parallel to the ground, facing downward. He said, guess I gotta use my trump card. Naruto cupped his hands behind his back while saying the chant that's known to every DBZ fan across the world. Kamehameha. He let loose his trump card, the Kamehameha wave. The blue beam of energy crashed onto Shukaku's head, blowing his entire body apart from the inside. Naruto waited in the air, breathing hard. When the smoke cleared, Gaara was lying on the floor. Naruto smiled, thinking he had won the battle. Boy, was he wrong. Come on, I wasn't gonna leave you waiting for a month and leave you hanging like that. Gaara opened his eyes, well, Shukaku's, and brought the sand back, forming Shukaku. Son of a bitch, thought Kyuubi as Naruto was punched by Shukaku's massive arms. He was sent flying from that hit. Naruto eventually caught himself, only to be on the end of a ball of air launched by Shukaku. Damn, forgot about the Rinkuden. When Naruto got up, he had a look of despair on his face. He looked up at Shukaku, and thought, how the hell can I beat this thing? I blew it up, it reforms, I beat the fuck out of Gaara, and he forms the raccoon. What the hell can I do? Why the hell aren't you answering these questions, Kyuubi? Hold up, let me think. Q Jeopardy song, that's in Naruto, you gotta recreate the Super Saiyan transformation. Great, except how the hell do I do that? Well, what were you feeling last time? Well, I thought Sasuke died, so rage, anger, sadness, despair, negative feelings must be the trigger. Try to recreate that experience, kid. Naruto closed his eyes, thinking about what happened last time. His best friend pushed him out of the way of death. When Sasuke died, his rage at Haku, his anger at Haku, Sasuke, and himself, sadness from the fact that it was his fault Sasuke died. Unknown to Naruto, a tear fell out of his eye. He felt a wave of negative emotions and power come over him. He held on to those feelings, trying to bring them to the front. With a yell, he pushed them out. His really dark blonde hair changed to a pure gold color. His dark blue eyes turned into a bluish green. He also had a golden aura emanating from his body. He felt the power coursing through his body, and it felt incredible. I did it. I finally did it. I reached Super Saiyan again. Yeah, you did. Now go over there and kick Shukaku's ass right now, or you'll find yourself unable to fight, once the downfalls of Super Saiyan catch up to you. Naruto needed no more persuasion, and launched at Shukaku, who was already coming over there to check out the big power boost. Naruto flew under Shukaku's head to his underbelly. Naruto punched Shukaku's stomach, destroying it. He kept flying, bursting out the back. Not much later, he turned around while flying away to let a riot javelin loose. With that he blew up the back of Shukaku. Shukaku turned around, feeling the hit, and found him by the golden tail of energy he was leaving behind. The Shukaku snarled at Naruto and launched a flurry of Futon, Rankuden, wind-style, drilling air bullet, at Naruto. Naruto just stood there and swatted away all the attacks. After the third one, Naruto hit them with enough force to send them back at Shukaku. As his own attacks were coming back, Shukaku jumped back, leveling city blocks everywhere. Naruto dived at Shukaku, and stopped 10 meters in front of his head. He yelled Cyclone Buster. and let out his attack. He blasted the Shukaku with 20 rapid fire blasts, then phased in at its head and fired a big one. He saw that Gaara landed on the ground and formed the raccoon again. Naruto flew above it, waiting for another chance to strike. Hey kid, I just thought of something. What? Well, maybe if we wake Gaara up, we can end this thing. What about those hits I landed on him earlier, before the giant raccoon form? I think he had a second backup sand armor that protected him from all those hits. That's crazy, so crazy it just might work. Now beat his ass. Naruto powered up, purposely giving his position away. The reformed Shukaku grabbed him and ate him, trying to suffocate Naruto in the sand of its belly. Naruto moved down to the stomach, unable to breathe. He focused a lot of energy around his body, and let it flare out at once while yelling and with all his limbs spread out. It created a huge orange sphere that surrounded him and expanded, destroying the Shukaku, and singing Gaara. Naruto flew over to where he felt Shukaku's energy. Gaara's Shukaku was emitting so much energy, he traced it to the source, and grabbed Gaara by his neck, and punched him in the head. When Gaara's eyes opened, they were back to normal. Gaara started breathing hard and said thanks. Naruto said, come on, let's get you back to your siblings. Naruto grabbed Gaara and flew away, trying to find out where the hell they went. He was flying when he was waved down there by Temari. He touched down, carrying Gaara in front of him. When he landed, Temari ran to him and hugged him while saying thank you. When she let him go, she was blushing. So was he. She tried changing the subject really quickly by saying, what happened to you? Naruto lied, oh, I don't know how this happened. It started during the fight. I don't know what it does. Gaara said, how did you do it? What came Naruto's reply? Defeat me when I was in that form, said Gaara. I was trying to protect these two, points to Temari and Kankuro. They were innocent in this entire affair, and I wouldn't be able to stand it if some innocent people got hurt for nothing. Now excuse me, while I pass out. The siblings got a bewildered look on their faces, until the golden aura and changes on Naruto disappeared and Naruto fell back unconscious. Next day 7:30 a.m. Naruto woke up the next morning sitting on a bed. He looked around wondering where he was, until the door opened and Temari came there, dressed in her usual attire. She said, good morning, sleepyhead, I was wondering if you were gonna sleep all day. Trust me, the thought crossed my mind, said Naruto as he followed Temari out of their hotel and to the village border. Ah well, hey, we're getting ready to leave the village. Cool, I'll see you off. I gotta leave anyways. Where are you from anyway? Ah well, I got nothing to lose. I'm from Konohagakure no Sato. Temari got a shocked look on her face. He was from the same village they were planning on attacking in a few months. She was seriously thinking about tipping him off, until she remembered that she would become a traitor. Even if she didn't like her father, she needed to stay. She was the only person who treated her little brother right. Even if he never admitted it, he needed her there. And blood was thicker than water. She then said, oh. So are you competing in the Chunin exams being held there in a few months? Naruto replied with yeah. My teacher will have no choice but to recommend us. Why? My teammate is special in the village's eyes and the council basically bends over backwards to kiss his. Your teammate sounds like he has the easy life. Along the way they picked up Gaara and Kankuro. While walking in silence, they reached the road to Sunagakure no Sato. Temari said, well, this is my way. Naruto said, yeah, I gotta go this way. Pointing past the sand dunes, Temari said, keep you safe? I'll see you at the Chunin exams. Temari smirked and leaned in and kissed Naruto on the lips. She pulled back saying, that's something to remember me by. Naruto stood there with a glazed look in his eyes. He then said, yeah? She giggled and led her brothers down the road to Sunagakure. Naruto just stood there with a glazed look on his face for 3 minutes, until he remembered he was supposed to be in Wave Country. He shot up and flew to Wave Country. 8:30 Wave Country. Naruto touched down in his same clearing he took off in. He walked around and called Sasuke's name, but no one answered. Naruto walked around and found his headband at the exact same place he left it. Picking it up, Naruto ran to Tazuna's house and knocked on the door. Out came Inari. He yelled Naruto. And hugged Naruto. He said, why are you here? Your team already left. Naruto had a bewildered look on his face and said, what? Inari said, yeah, your team already left. Sasuke said to give this to you when you return. Inari reached into his overalls and pulled out a sheet of paper. On it was Sasuke's handwriting. It said, Naruto, where the hell are you? Sakura and Kakashi got fed up with waiting on you, so we were forced to leave. The day I'm writing this is August 12th. It takes 3 days to travel from Wave to Konohagakure. I suspect we will be there by the 15th. You need to get there before we do or you'll be marked a missing name. From Sasuke. Naruto looked at it and read it 3 more times. Today was the 15th. He had to get there quick. Naruto was about to turn before his arm was held by Inari. Come on, Naruto. Stay and have some food first, insisted Inari. Sorry, Inari, but I have to get to my village before my team does. I'll come back and visit again, I promise, said Naruto. He started running down the path to the village Inari's family lived by. When he was sure he was out of eyesight of Inari, he took off, encased in a white aura to go faster. With Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi, Sasuke had done everything he could to stall their arrival to the Leaf Village, but it was all in vain. They kept moving. Also, Kakashi was moving faster than what was needed. Sakura thought it was so they could get to the village in time for the JC Penney shopping spree, but Sasuke knew better. He did it so Naruto wouldn't be able to get there before them. He was trying to get Naruto killed. Doesn't he know he can be punished for not keeping track of a student outside of the village? Oh yeah, that can only be issued if the parents press charges. And since Naruto is an orphan, Kakashi's off the hook. He must have been thinking of this for a while. Damn, he's pushing us as fast as we can go. Times like this are the times I thank Kami for Sakura's weakness. She's slowing us down so much Naruto might beat us by a year. Sakura started getting tired and asked to slow the pace. Kakashi growled and let up. They got to the village around 9 o'clock. They checked in with the village guards and were forced to building hop to the Hokage tower since it was faster. When they checked in with the secretary, they walked into the Hokage's office with Kakashi saying, "Sir, I have some interesting news to tell you about Naruto." "Don't bother, Kakashi. I beat you by 20 minutes," said a familiar voice. As one, they turned to the left wall to see Naruto leaning on it with his arms crossed and a smirk on his face. "Yes, Kakashi," said the Hokage, drawing their attention to him. He continued, "Naruto has told me how you left Wave Country not waiting for him to show up." "What was I supposed to do?" said Kakashi, knowing he was busted. "Wait for me to show up," said Naruto. "We don't have to wait for your sorry loser ass to show up," yelled Sakura. "You guys left on the 12th. When I went missing you guys only waited for 2 days before leaving. What you were supposed to do is send a letter back to the Hokage telling him that you needed more time. Besides, we had 30 days at the most to complete the mission. It took us 3 days to get there. It was a week between our 2 fights with Zabuza. 3 days for me to wake up. Another week on top of that. I was gone 5 days. That leaves 5 days. You guys didn't even wait the last 5 days for me. We don't have to wait for you," yelled the Banshee. "Actually, you guys should've." "Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, I expect your reports on my desk by tomorrow." "Why doesn't Naruto have to write one?" Hokage-sama asked Kakashi. "I already did, Cyclops," retorted Naruto. "Okay, Naruto, stay back here, the rest of you are dismissed," said Sarutobi with a tone of voice telling you to not fuck with him. The others left, with Sasuke giving Naruto a punch on the shoulder. Naruto turned to Sarutobi and said, "Okay, what you got for me, old man? You broke the seal, didn't you?" said the Hokage out of the blue. Naruto, feigning dumb, said, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about your abilities that were sealed away by your father." "You knew about those?" said Naruto. "Yes, I knew about them. I was the one who recommended them." "What the hell, you old bastard?" yelled Naruto. "Naruto, I know that you're mad, but think about it. Your family's abilities are amazing. So amazing that I can't trust you to learn of them by yourself. Who would teach you? If you found them and were in a foul mood, you would destroy this planet. I had to wait until I was sure you wouldn't kill everyone out of rage," said the Sandaime. Naruto, after thinking about it for a minute, cooled down and said, "You're right, old man. If I wasn't calm, I would have done something that I'd regret. You were right to lock them away from me. I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry for yelling at you." "No problem. Also, your father left you something. He had an old training ground that he always went to train in. He put something over the grounds so he was the only person to pass through them. I think it might have been blood-related, and since you're his son, you might be able to see how your father trained. Alright, old man. I'll see you later." Naruto had ran out of the office, only to come back 3 minutes later when he remembered that he didn't know where it was located. Unknown area. Naruto followed the map he was given by the Hokage to where the general area of the place was located. The Sandaime said he had followed Minato to the training ground but then reached an invisible wall that he couldn't get through. He tried some of his strongest jutsu, but they still didn't work. He knows that it was somewhere in this general area. Naruto walked until he came to a clearing. There wasn't anything out of the ordinary of this place. 3 training logs, grass field, trees around, nothing. Naruto walked further into the clearing to see something there. He walked there to see a blue panel with a metal ball on top. Naruto looked at the panel and then heard a mechanical voice say, "Fingerprint scan and retina registration, please." Naruto jumped and looked around for the voice only to hear it say, "Fingerprint scan and retina registration, please." Naruto kept looking around for it. "Hey, dumbass. Hurry up and do the fingerprint scan and retina registration already." He looked down to see that it was coming from the blue panel. Naruto put the stuff on the back burner and put his hand on the blue part. Then the metal ball came out somehow and shot a blue beam of light at his eyes. The machine said, "Naruto Uzumaki-san, welcome." Then part of the clearing opened up and a circular metal platform 10 feet in diameter showed under it. The platform started going underground. Naruto panicked and started looking for a way out. He found that there was none. He just stopped struggling and waited for the platform to take him to wherever. After 5 minutes the platform stopped. Naruto walked off the platform and lights started coming on as soon as he passed them. They then lit a path somewhere. He followed the trail to come to a room. He opened the door to see a big monitor there hooked up to what looked like a supercomputer. The monitor turned on and there was someone standing there. He had yellow blonde hair, with blue eyes. He was muscular, in a fighting gi with the Hokage's formal robes on. He said, "Hello, I am Son Goku Jr., but most know me as Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage of Konohagaku no Sato, and if this video is playing, you must be my son, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze's son." Naruto just looked on in complete and total silence and shock. Naruto was so shocked that he could just mutter out how. Minato said, "Well, I bet you're wondering what this place is and how this all happened. Well, it started off with my ancestor, Goku. Blah blah, you know the story? After I beat Vegeta Jr. in the World Tournament on my 20th birthday, some aliens came and invaded the Earth. They were of the same species as Frieza. I and Vegeta Jr. fought them off, but there were hundreds of thousands of them and only 2 of us. Remember Piccolo died in GT. By this point the Yondaime started tearing up, remembering his past. He continued, there were too many of them for us to fight. We were forced to leave the planet, going to another one that humans lived on. When we left, we swore on our ancestors that we would kill them all for destroying our home." Naruto just stood there shocked. He heard of another Earth from the Kyuubi, but he could never guess that they were that advanced. He was about to ask more, when Minato started speaking again. "When we landed on this planet, I was cornered by this huge beast, the Kyuubi no Kitsune, the same one I sealed in you. He demanded to know who I was and where I came from. I told him the same story I told you. He seemed to back off after that. After I met up with Veggie Jr. we went to the nearest town asking directions to a city. We arrived in Konoha. I stayed in Super Saiyan for the rest of the time I was alive, only switching out after I told the Sandaime and your mother. I found out that Vegeta Jr., who then went by Jufa Lee, had a son who was named Rock Lee. After seeing how happy his family was with the new addition to them, I talked it over with Kushina, your mother, and decided to have a baby. That's where you came in. Although the Kyuubi attack shot all my ideas of having a happy family to hell. Anyway, Naruto. I left many recordings on here of how to focus your ki, our basic attacks, and where you can find some training equipment. I just want to say that I'm sorry for everything that happened to you. I'm guessing that the village didn't listen to my last wish. I just hope that all of this will redeem me in some way. I'm sorry and I love you, Naruto, so did your mother." After that the transmission ended. Naruto took some time to put himself together from the transmission. He then walked around what he assumed to be a huge underground lab. He was admiring all of the inventions that his father had built in his spare time. A room that could manipulate the gravity to increase it up to 1,000 times regular gravity. A case full of weights that weighed probably 1,000 pounds each. A machine that could hover off the ground and fly around like a bird. And all of them could be shrunken into a capsule form for easy carrying. Naruto went back to the computer to type in the history of the Sun family. From there a bunch of things popped up. The first one was about Naruto's meeting with Bulma and through the first martial arts tournament he competed in. The second was about his defeat of the Red Ribbon Army and the second martial arts tournament. The third was all about the fights he had with the Demon King Piccolo until the birth of Gohan. The fourth was all about the fight with Raditz and the other Saiyans. The fifth was all about their adventures on Namek and with the Namekians. The sixth was about the fights they had with Garlic Jr. and the return of Frieza. The seventh was about their entire history with the androids. The eighth was about their fights with Majin Buu. The ninth was about their trip all around the galaxy looking for the Black Star Dragon Balls. The 10th was about the breakout of H-File, Home for Infinite Losers, or Hell, by Super 17. And the last one was about their fights with the Shadow Dragons. The videos just showed old video recordings of the fights. Naruto saw some of the moves that were used on there and was amazed. He saw a move called the After Image that he was interested in. Naruto typed it in on the computer, and it showed a video of a young Goku fighting someone using it. Basically, as their opponent came at them with an attack, they would take off in a short burst of extremely high speed, moving faster than the opponent can sense. This has the side effect of leaving a momentary after image, until the opponent's senses adapt and realize their target has moved. There was another technique that was used that took Naruto's attention. It was called psychokinesis. It was used to manipulate objects and other people with the power of one's mind. It was first used by Kaiatsu. After practicing these abilities in the now dubbed Gravity Room, Naruto found that the after image was pretty easy. He just had to move a little key into his legs, and presto, he's gone. Psychokinesis was an entirely different thing though. Naruto couldn't get it to work. Goku's brother could do it, why couldn't he? Naruto banished that thought from his mind and went to the Gravity Room. He saw that it even had weights for lifting. Naruto just went to the console in the front and increased the weight to 2x gravity. He hit the ground with a thud. Naruto tried to push himself up, but it didn't work. Naruto got up to his knees, and waited there until he could get back up. After a few tries he was able to stand up, but barely. Naruto stood there, waiting for his body to adjust to the gravity. He took a few steps slowly, trying to move in the gravity. After 20 minutes he found it becoming a lot easier to move. He was even throwing some punches in there. He went to the computer by the door of the room to see that he could deploy some robots for fighting or to shoot at him, for dodging. Naruto deployed the fighting robots, and got ready for battle. The room in the GR with the Saiyan robots opened, and in came 10 robots. They all looked at him, and ran at him. Naruto got into a fighting stance, and waited for them to attack. One robot decided to start the fight by walking up to Naruto and punching out, really slow. Naruto hit the robot with his knuckle and it broke into pieces. Naruto then ran to the robots, kicking each one until they were destroyed. Naruto looked at the robots and thought, wait. That was easy. Way too easy. Naruto walked up to the computer and saw that there was an advanced settings button on there. He pushed it, and there was a chart with all of the abilities of the robots. Naruto just smacked himself in the head, muttering idiot. In advanced settings, he could personally customize the abilities of the robots. He saw that they were measured in levels and the settings he had it on were all at level 0. Naruto looked at them and changed the stats to train better. Speed, level 18. Strength, level 14. Endurance, level 20. Stamina, level 20. Ki blasts, level 15. Fighting, level 14. Strength, ki blasts, fighting equals average. Speed equals below average. Endurance, stamina equals above average. Naruto saved those attributes and deployed 10 robots. Naruto stood there at the robot's door waiting for them to come out. When they came out, they were completely different than the other ones. The other ones looked like they had a metal skeleton, and a small layer of wire wrapped around them. These ones had thin black armor all around their bodies. They were covered by white armor plating all around, forming to the shape of their body. The armor stopped at 3 inches from their joints, knees, elbows, neck. They all got into a fighting stance. Naruto saw a complete improvement over the other robots. You could tell by looking. Naruto got into a fighting stance. One robot charged him and threw a left punch. Naruto was surprised at the speed, and could barely block the punch, which he thought hurt like hell. He let his left fly, and hit the robot directly in the face, small pieces of armor coming off. Naruto then kneed the robot in the gut. The robot bent over in pain, only to come back with an uppercut to Naruto's chin. At this point the other robots jumped in. They crowded Naruto and started throwing punches at a fast rate. Naruto could barely dodge them all. He dodged a punch from a robot on his right, and grabbed his arm, and swung him around and threw him away. Naruto charged ki into his hands, but then let it go, fearing destroying the GR and never being able to repair it. He just decided to fight with his bare hands. He jumped over a robot that got up and went behind him. Naruto yelled out Cyclone Rage, and charged the robot. It was a hand-to-hand attack he invented himself. The robot turned around to face Naruto. He charged the robot with his left held back in a fist, and his right in front of him with a block. He lashed out with his right, hitting the robot in the face with his right arm. He then punched it with his left, and used his momentum to kick it in the stomach with his left leg. He then turned around, lashing out with his right heel to the chest, then right elbow and fist to the face, and then ending with a left punch right to the sternum. The robot flew away in a mess, and crashed into the wall of the GR. It then exploded. Naruto was about to cheer, but then was shot in the back with a ki blast. Naruto fell to the ground, but rolled out of the way of another. He stood up and kept dodging the ki blasts. He then slowly made his way to the robots while they all were shooting at him, getting hit with a few. He got face to face with the closest one to him, and dodged his shot, punched him in the chest, and grabbed him for use as a human, robot, you know what I mean, shield. He put the robot in the way of every shot that came to him. Naruto jumped and dropkicked the robot into another one on his left. The dropkicked robot exploded, his friend getting away in time. Naruto was dodging them, and then he started thinking, wait, if I'm dodging their fire, then where they are hitting? Naruto jumped over the robots, and saw that the walls absorbed the energy. Naruto grinned, and landed. He saw that the robots were retracting their hands into their armor, charging up shots. Naruto grinned, and as soon as they started firing, he let up a shield of ki, blocking their fire. He saw that the fire was starting to increase, so he made the shield circle around him. He kept this going for 2 minutes, grunting whenever he had to repair it where he was blasted. He realized that the shield still was wasting too much energy, so he focused the shield into a full-body one that made an outline of his body 3 inches from his skin. He started walking, concentrating on forcing the energy to take that shape, and repairing it where he was blasted. He waited until he was surrounded by all of the robots, they blasting him. Naruto closed his eyes in concentration and then focused all of his energy out, causing a super explosive wave. When he ended it, he realized that that attack wasted 60% of his power alone. Combined with keeping the shield, he was running on fumes, a measly 5% of his full power. Naruto also saw that the robots weren't dead. Their armor was almost completely melted though, and they weren't moving anywhere as quickly as they were before. Naruto took the initiative, and charged the robots. He went up to one and punched at it. The robot let up a measly block, and Naruto lifted the robot up vertically. He was about to throw the robot into his friends, but couldn't hold the robot for long, so he tossed it as close as he could to another. He managed to make the robot fall over his thrown friend. He threw then exploded, taking the other one with it. Naruto saw them all start to get up and try to crowd him. He decided to try a move he saw from the video. It was called Power Blitz. Naruto focused ki in his hand, making it take the shape of a small one ball in his right hand. He yelled out Power Blitz and threw it at them, the blast increasing in size as soon as it left his hand. All the robots were hit from that, and exploded. Naruto saw that he won, and then sat down, Happy that was finally over, he laid down in the GR, waiting for his breath to catch, when he noticed a level 0 robot come out and hand him something. He saw that it was a small green bean. He looked confusingly at the robot, which left the room by then, and looked at the bean. After thinking, Naruto shrugged and ate the bean. He immediately felt different. He felt revived. He was able to get up easily. His wounds were healed, and he was full, surprisingly. He walked over to the computer to see that it was around 7 p.m. He walked out of the GR, deciding to leave it at the lab. He walked up and activated the lift, taking him up. He left the training ground, wanting to get a lap around the village and before he went to sleep, and tell Sasuke about what he found. Around the village, while Naruto was taking his lap around the village, he saw someone behind him. The person had on green spandex, with a bowl cut, black eyes, and a red forehead protector around his waist, orange leg warmers, and some sandals. He caught up to Naruto and stayed at level with him. He looked at Naruto. Naruto looked at him. They then smirked at the same time, pulled out kunai, threw them in the air, and took off in a race. While racing, they were neck and neck. The two boys were tied. Since they were tied, Naruto decided to turn the competition up a notch. He took off, pushing ki into his legs to get ahead. The boy saw that Naruto was way ahead of him, so he closed his eyes in concentration, and then yelled first gate. Kaimon, gate of opening. Open. The boy then was surrounded by a white aura, and took off, coming to a stalemate with Naruto. Naruto then pushed more chakra into his legs, gaining more ground on the kid. The kid then jumped forward, gaining immense altitude, while crossing his arms and closing his eyes. He concentrated and then yelled second gate. Kyuubi. Gate of rest. Open. The boy then gained an immense power gain, while creating a huge white aura of energy around himself. Focusing a lot of it into his legs, he blew past Naruto, and unknowingly won the race. But they paid no heed to it. Naruto was shocked that a normal kid like that boy could be that fast. Naruto then dug deep into his power reserves, putting as much power into his legs as he could, meeting the kid in a stalemate. They looked at each other, and then Naruto dropped like dead weight onto the ground. The kid stopped, and headed back for Naruto to help him. He helped Naruto sit up, and then fell down beside him. They both were in need of oxygen, so much so that their hearts were about to burst their ribcage and come out their chests. After they caught their second wind, Naruto asked the kid, "Hey, how did you do that thing during the race?" The kid said, "Oh, you mean the gates? My teacher Gai-sensei taught me that. Basically there are 8 gates on your chakra system that regulate chakra. When I did that, I forced open the gates, giving myself more power than normal, but doing a lot of damage to my body. That's why I don't use them much. Only as a last resort. Personally, I hate typing up youth every other word, so imagine it's there." Naruto stared at Lee and said, You say youthful a lot?" The kid said, "Yes, it's a show of how powerful my springtime of youth is." Naruto said, "Yeah." While thinking what kind of backwards fucked up village is this, Naruto said, "So, can you teach someone that?" The kid said, "Sorry, but no. My teacher specifically told me that I can't teach anyone this technique without his consent." Naruto said, "It's nothing. I guess I'll make do with what I got." "Oh yeah, what's your name anyway?" The kid said, "I am Rock Lee, the Hidden Leaf Village's handsome devil." To prove his point, Lee jumped up in the air doing some kicks, and then landed. First, Naruto looked confused, then got a look of surprise on his face and asked, "Is your father named Jiffy?" Lee said, "Yes, he was." "How do you know that?" Naruto said, "I read my father's diary, and he mentioned that Jiffy was his best friend." Lee asked, "Really? Why didn't my dad ever mention that?" Naruto looked at Lee in surprise and said, "Your father's alive?" Lee said, "Yeah, why wouldn't he be?" Naruto muttered, "I thought he died in the Kyuubi attack." Lee said, "No, he went in a coma for about 5 weeks, and then came back. Though he left when I was 8 for some reason and hasn't come back." Naruto said, "Damn. Lucky you." Out of nowhere, a voice said, "No. Lucky me." They turned to the left to see a person standing there. Except it only has a human structure. It was over 10 feet tall. It had white armor surrounding an ice blue dome with 2 horns coming out of its head at an angle, then bending directly up. On its chest was an ice blue dome surrounded by white armor. The white armor took the shape of its abdomen muscles. It also formed armor for the shoulder, which had the ice blue dome in them. Pink skin outlined its arms, and the forearms were encased in white armor with a big brown spot on the front. Its hand skin was ice blue and it had 5 fingers. The armor stopped on its waist, where pink skin outlined the rest of its lower body. Armor encased its lower legs. It had 3 toes on each foot with the foot having ice blue skin. It also had a 5-foot tail. The beast also had something on its left ear that formed a visor for its left eye. It said, "Yep. I finally get to fight. Master left me this pitiful planet, but I think this has a lot of potential. Now, all I have to do is enslave all of the insects here." Naruto looked at the monster and said, "What are you talking about enslaving us?" The beast said, "My master let me have this planet." Naruto said, "Who's this master of yours?" The beast said, "My master is the all-powerful Kurumi, the great-grandson of Frisia." Naruto's eyes widened, as he paled while hearing the Kyuubi say, "We are fucked royally." Naruto and Lo were staring down this huge monster. They were scared. Almost too scared to move. Keyword, almost. The monster looked at them. He pressed the device on his left ear. Yellow markings went through the visor on his left eye. The monster pointed at Naruto and he said power levels are 270,000 and points at Lee, 220,000. Mere flies compared to my power. But it does seem like I'll get at least a good warm-up in this fight. Naruto snarled and said please, we can take you. You don't seem so tough. Saiyan cockiness. Piss off, thought the Kyuubi and Naruto respectively. The guy just laughed at Naruto and said, see here, kid. I have a power level over 800,000. I could beat you with the tip of my finger. There's no way you could defeat the great and mighty Theost, pronounced like Theost. Naruto said, why the hell are you named Theost? That sounds like toast. Oh, well, let's get started. Lee looked at Naruto and said, what are you doing? We need to run and get someone else to handle this. Naruto said, please. I'm not running from any fight. I'm gonna stay here, fight, and win or die trying. Lee said, kid, are you crazy? We could die. There's a time to fight, and a time to retreat tactfully. Guess which one this is? Naruto got a thoughtful expression on his face, waited a minute, and then said a time to fight. And charged Theost. Theost just smirked at Naruto thinking that Naruto's attack wouldn't hurt him. Naruto jumped and kicked him right in the jewel in his chest. He took it with a small amount of pain, and swatted Naruto with its tail as soon as Naruto landed. Naruto rolled and landed by Lee. Lee looked at him and said, any more bright ideas? Naruto got back up and said just one. Duck. And tackled Lee as a pink blast went through where they just were. They looked where it came and saw that it was Theost who fired the blast. Naruto helped Lee up and said, can you do those gate opening things again? Lee said, maybe, but it does a lot of damage to my body. If I open 4 of them, I could completely annihilate this guy, but my body would be torn from the inside by it. Naruto looked at him and said, what would happen if you opened the first 2? Lee looked at Naruto and said, well, the first gate dash, dodge a blast by Theost, releases the brain's limit on the total strain on the dash, ducks under a kick, and rolls away, muscles, giving the user 5 times their normal strength. The second gate releases the brain's limit on the body's dash, dodges a punch and jumps off his head over to Naruto, stamina, making a battle-worn person ready to fight as if the fight had just started. Naruto looked at Lee and said, open the first gate. When you start to feel tired, open the second gate. We both fight him. Together we can both beat him. Naruto looked at Theost and saw him charging for another death beam. Naruto waited and muttered 3 2 1 1/2 1/4 1/8 1/16 1/32. Just shoot the damn thing already. Yelling at the end, Theost fired and Naruto yelled break. And they charged Theost. Naruto looked at Lee and pointed at him. He then pointed up. He then pointed his thumb at himself and pointed down. Lee looked confused, and then mouthed, realizing it meant you go high, I go low. They charged Theost with Naruto in front. Naruto went for Theost's shin while Lee jumped up and kicked him straight in the face. Both connected. Naruto then jumped up and kicked him in the jewel on his chest. He saw Lee land behind him and Naruto kneeled down, with his back at an angle. Lee then ran at Naruto and up his back, jumping off at the last second. He then started twisting in the air while moving closer to Theost. Lee yelled out Leaf Great Whirlwind. He then lashed out with his right leg and kicked Theost in the face, then used his momentum to turn around and hit him with a left heel, knocking Theost back. Theost growled in anger and punched the ground where Lee was. Lee rolled to the left, barely dodging the punch that left a small indent on the ground. Lee got up and kicked Theost's elbow, injuring it greatly. After Lee launched off his back, Naruto ran at Theost doing hand signs. After it, he yelled out lightning style, false darkness, and thrusted his hand forward. A mass of lightning came out and struck Theost. Naruto made a shadow clone. They both started doing hand signs. They then yelled out fire style, grand fireball jutsu wind style. Great break through the fire and wind collided, burning Theost. After Naruto ceased the attack, they saw that Theost was really burned. They also saw the look of rage on his face. He yelled, enough games, pathetic humans. It's time I show you my true power. He then charged Naruto faster than Naruto could track and punched him in the chest. Naruto's eyes widened. Lee ran over there, trying to kick Theost, but was swatted away by Theost's tail. Naruto dropped on the floor, still hunched over in pain. Theost said, I think I'll take my time killing you all. Too bad for him, he didn't expect a fist right in the face. He was launched away by that punch. He rolled and tumbled on the ground 5 feet away. He looked up to see Lee standing by Naruto, but he was different. Lee's hair started levitating at weird intervals. Also, sweat was coming from Lee's forehead and he had a big white aura around him. His hands were balled up in fists tightly and his muscles contracted and expanded. He only had 3 seconds to ponder this before he was punched across the face. He unknowingly turned on his scouter and saw that the level of Lee's power was at 900,000. He gaped in fear as Lee charged him and kicked him in the face, damaging the scouter more than he did before. Theost got into a standing position and waited for Lee. Lee charged him and threw a punch that missed, and then threw 2 kicks that were dodged also. Lee then faked a punch and ducked. He twisted as he did and launched a spinning kick at Theost's feet, yelling Leaf Violent Wind. Theost started falling forward when Lee suddenly appeared with his foot in the air, but pulled back. Theost thought fu dash, but that was as far as he got since Lee kicked him in the chin, sending him in the air while yelling leaf rising wind. Lee then pounced up there, appearing behind him. He put his index fingers on Theost's back while saying leaf shadow dance. He then lashed out with a right roundhouse to Theost's right side, and then started spinning quickly. Theost started falling to the ground from the kick, so he couldn't block when he heard Lee yell Konoha Raiken, Thunder Fist. I think Raiken sounds cooler. He then took the attack right in the chest. He fell down, hitting the ground and leaving a Theost-shaped imprint on it. Lee landed on his knees huffing and puffing, his white aura getting smaller. Naruto finally got up from that punch and saw Lee's display of power. He smiled at his friend and was about to congratulate him, but then saw that Theost got back up. He was bleeding from the mouth and his chest jewel was cracked. He had smudges of dirt all on his armor. He looked at Lee and smirked and said, "Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I guess that show back there was a one-hit wonder. Now you die." He charged Lee with the intent of killing him. Naruto couldn't let that happen. He charged ki into his hands and fired off 12 shots at Theost, ignoring the pain of his broken ribs. Theost grunted in pain as each one hit. Naruto created 5 clones and told them to keep Theost busy. Naruto then ran over to Lee, limping a little. Lee stood up, the white aura fading more and more. He then crossed his arms and started shaking. He said, "Lee, stop. You don't have to do this. I'll beat him." "Lee, stand down. I don't want to see you get hurt." Lee looked at Naruto and said, "No. I will not stand by and watch my friend fight a battle we both were in. When I was in the academy, everyone taunted me and put me down all because I couldn't use ninjutsu or genjutsu. My own teammate puts me down. After his constant put-downs, I made a vow. I vowed that I would never be seen as the fifth wheel. I would never be called useless, talentless, or weak ever again. I would get stronger, and show all those people who put me down that it doesn't matter that I can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu. I will still become an accomplished ninja, and I won't leave you standing alone either, Naruto. I'm fighting this until the very end." Lee threw his hands to his side, the white aura growing in size. He then yelled, "Second gate. Third gate. Kumon. Simon. Gate of rest. Gate of life. Open!" Lee's aura skyrocketed. His skin became red. His eyes lost their iris and pupil. He then took off like a rocket, crashing onto Theost and sending him to a tree. Naruto looked to see that Lee was pounding him. When Theost got up, he ignored the pain in his armor and started attacking Lee back. Punches were being thrown at an incredibly fast pace. Naruto saw that in order to actually keep up, he would need an ability like Super Saiyan to keep up. Naruto started charging up, trying to reach Super Saiyan as much as he could. He could feel the barrier on his power. He was almost through it. With a yell, he broke through it. But not completely. He let out another yell as the power came to him. It was nothing close to the power of the Super Saiyan, but it was close. A yellow aura encased him. His muscles also expanded a lot. He tried to keep a hold on the power he got, but couldn't reach for the true Super Saiyan transformation. Naruto came to his senses and looked at the battle. It looks like Lee was throwing everything he had at Theost. He saw Lee was starting to lose more energy, and shot over there. He got there just in time to see Lee duck under Theost's tail. Naruto put both hands behind him and shot a big ki blast at Theost. He then charged through the smoke and punched him in the stomach. He flew up and stayed there as he started landing blow after blow on Theost's chest and head. Lee, who saw all this, ignored it and started bombarding his legs and stomach with attacks. Theost was hardly keeping up with all the blows, most of them landing. They were able to keep this up for 5 minutes, each feeling joy at every grunt of pain that came from Theost. Naruto kneed Theost in the chest, and drop-kicked him in the face. Lee was about to charge, but Naruto told him to wait. They did, and when Theost got up, the only thing he heard was lightning style, false darkness, and a yell of riot javelin. The attacks all hit at the same time, giving a huge light show along with Theost's scream. Naruto and Lee watched with satisfaction, thinking that this was finally over. They let their adrenaline from the battle go away, dropping their transformations. They smirked at each other and gave a high five. They were about to cheer, until they heard groaning. They looked over to see Theost getting up from the attacks. Damn, what would it take to kill this guy? He had many dirt smudges on his armor. All of the jewels on them were cracked. The armor on his back and arms was blown off, and so was 2 feet of his tail. The shadow clones Naruto made had long since poofed away. He and Lee were still struggling from the battle. They threw everything at him, yet he still comes back. Naruto just glared at Theost. He focused ki through all of his system, and charged Theost. He ran and punched him in the face, then chased him back and went around him to punch him in the back. He followed him up to the sky, and kicked him in the stomach, gave him an uppercut to the face, then did a double-handed smash to his head. When Theost was falling down, Naruto put both hands behind him and charged up an attack. He then yelled, "Why won't you die?" Double riot javelin. He threw the one in his right hand, then the one in his left hand in quick succession. He knew that Theost wasn't dead. He had to do something to stop him. He knew this was a long shot, but he thought, "Fox, give me some chakra, are you crazy? My chakra does a number on your system. You could die. 1 death is better than thousands. Come on, I gotta fight, and I need some more help to win. Sai, you're just like your father. He knew he wouldn't win against me, yet he still fought me. Alright, kid, I'll give you some, but watch out. If you're using too much, I'm gonna cut you off. Fine. Naruto then felt a huge surge in his power. It felt weird, but it also felt strong. He knew he had to win this fight now, or else he would die. He let out a yell and the chakra surrounded him in a thick red aura. His eyes turned red with slits in them, his nails grew out to claws, and his canine teeth grew longer. His hair was levitating at irregular angles because of the aura. He glared at Theost, and charged him again. He punched him in the face, but Theost flipped back, hitting Naruto with his tail. Naruto charged him and struck out with his claws, but they were blocked. But they also clawed at the pink skin that was on his forearm. Theost kicked out with his left foot, Naruto grabbing it and stopping it with a chakra-enhanced block. Naruto took his left hand, sent a lot of chakra into it, and punched Theost in his knee as hard as he could. Theost's scream of pain was like music to Naruto's ears. Naruto threw Theost's leg around him, making Theost turn and was about to punch him in the stomach, but then a yell of Leaf Hurricane came and Theost was kicked away. Lee landed in front of him. Naruto charged in at Theost, Lee not far behind. Naruto jumped and kicked him in the chest, with Lee behind him aiming for his head. Theost jumped back, dodging the one for his chest, but not the one for his head. Theost leaned back from the punch, allowing Naruto to jump up and plant a left heel kick in his chest. Theost stumbled back, falling to the ground. Naruto looked at Lee. They were both panting hard, trying to catch their breath. Naruto didn't know how much longer he could hold up, until Lee was kicked in the head, flying back. In his place was Theost, mad as hell. Naruto charged him and threw a left punch. Theost dodged it and lashed out with his tail, hitting Naruto in the head. Naruto flew away, into the forest. Theost chuckled, and then grunted as a ball of ki came and hit him. Fortunately it destroyed his scouter. With Naruto got back up from that attack, some of the Kyuubi's power going back to the Kyuubi. He saw Theost standing there, looking for them with his eyes. He saw that the thing on his left ear was destroyed. Naruto looked at it oddly, but paid it no heed. He had to get around and blast the guy. He took off in the forest, hoping that Theost wouldn't find him yet. With Lee was lying on the ground, completely dazed from that punch. He knew that he had to get up and fight. He owed it to Naruto. He got on his knees and took it slowly, trying to get up before Naruto died. With Theost was smirking. He had finally killed those brats. But they gave him a big fight. If there was someone stronger than them on this planet, he may have to get others to come and help him. He almost died from those snot-nosed brats. Theost just chuckled. Well, they ain't gonna bother anyone anymore, said Theost as he stood up. Unfortunately, he was so absorbed in his inner monologue that he didn't hear Naruto charge up something. Naruto had gone through the forest, getting on the other side of Theost. He saw him thinking to himself, so he put his hands behind his back and charged up. He focused some of the Kyuubi's ki into his hands. He charged them up with as much as he could. Naruto threw his hands out yelling Cyclone Buster. He fired 12 big blasts, all red. They all hit Theost. By the time the first hit, he was too out of it to dodge the rest. Naruto then phased forward in front of Theost with a big red blast in his face. He held it in his face, and let it go at point-blank range. When the attack exploded, Naruto flew back from it. After gathering his senses, Naruto made 5 shadow clones, leaving them to deal with Theost for now. Naruto flew into the air, looking back as one clone yelled, "Yeah, bitch," as he hit Theost with the water bullet jutsu, and another hit him with the false darkness. Naruto chuckled and flew high into the air. He waited until he was over Theost. He then cupped his hands and started chanting Kamihami. As soon as he was about to let it fly, a voice to his right said, "Stop. Let me." He looked over to see a man whose hair stuck up all going to a single point in the air. He had on a black short-sleeved shirt with a purple coat over it, Future Trunks jacket, but without Capsule Corporation logo. He also had on white gloves and black pants and white boots with brown tips. The guy had a look and an aura around him that screamed power and demanded respect. If Naruto wasn't as powerful as he was, he would have shitted his pants by now. Naruto looked to see the guy hold his hands parallel behind him, unlike Naruto. But usually Naruto's attack is blue. The attack this guy was charging up was purple. Also, it was generating electricity and sparking off wildly. Some sparks hit Naruto. If the guy noticed it, he paid no heed as he glared at Theost and then yelled, "Gallic gun, fire!" The attack sailed forward, Theost unaware because of the 3 clones still giving him problems, and his scouter was destroyed. As the attack sailed, it lighted the night sky, catching the eyes of many. But those who saw it thought it was another ninja practicing attacks, so they paid it no mind. As the attack sailed through the air, Theost finally looked up and saw the reason for the sky being so bright at night. He looked at the blast to see that it was already too close for him to dodge, so he threw both hands forward and focused ki into his hands. He released the blast, yelling out Domination Blast. The attack came forward and combated the Gallic gun. He was being overpowered quickly, so he jumped away, barely avoiding the brunt of the blast, but taking the shockwaves, shattering 3 of the other jewel-like orbs on his body. He landed and wiped imaginary sweat from his brow, thinking, man, that was a close one. With Naruto, if he looked in the sky, he would see the guy who fired at him take off his jacket and hand it to Naruto. The guy clenched his hands at his hips for a moment, and then a yellow aura changed around him. His hair stood up more, his eyes turned green. His muscles expanded a bit. Naruto was amazed, but not from the fact that this guy was a Saiyan also, but of the fact that that guy had just transformed to the Super Saiyan level with almost no effort. The guy then took off at Theost, faster than Naruto had ever seen anyone go. Naruto followed him as the guy then yelled final impact, and started throwing punches and kicks at lightning speed, each one connecting with Theost. He then held his right foot back for a moment, his foot gaining its own unique white aura, then slammed it into Theost's center jewel, destroying it completely. He then leaned back on his right leg, and then popped his body and his left arm out. Instantaneously a blast of thunder and lightning impacted on Theost's chest and came out the other side. Theost just stood there, with a hole in his chest 2 feet in diameter. He then slowly landed on the ground and on his knees. He looked at the mystery guy with fear in his eyes, knowing death was near. Naruto walked up to them and saw the hole in Theost's chest. He looked at the guy to see him grab Theost's head with his right hand, charging it with ki. He then let it go, blowing Theost to smithereens. Naruto, looking at the guy, got a distinct feeling that the guy could have done that without transforming anyway. The guy released the transformation and just held his hand out to Naruto, indicating to his jacket. Naruto gave it to him and he grunted out thanks to then looked into the forest, and 2 seconds later Lee walked out of it, but fell over. The guy walked over to Lee and picked him up. He put him over his right shoulder and looked at Naruto. He said, kid, you know how to fly, right? Naruto just nodded. The guy said, come on, follow me, and took off, Naruto behind him. The guy flew over to a vacant field with the panel on there. It said in a mechanical voice, fingerprint registration and retina scan, please. The man put his hand on the monitor while leaning forward, having his eye scanned. Naruto looked surprised that this guy knew how to get in. He thought it was only accessible to him since his father died. It then said fingerprint registration and retina scan completed. Welcome, Vegeta Briefs Jr. The ground then started to open up, with Vegeta Jr. walking over onto it. Naruto followed quickly, the elevator speeding up and taking them down to the lab. Underground lab. When they got to the lab, Vegeta Jr. started hastily walking forward, not waiting for Naruto. Naruto had to run to keep up with him. When they left, they made it to a room with a sign that said Regen Tank. When they walked in, there were computers lining the entire left wall, with strange machines lining the right. They were hooked onto the wall and were white. They had buttons on the hatch where they opened, and the doors on them were all made of glass. They also had these black things dangling down from the top. He saw that Vegeta Jr. had set Lee down in one. He looked to see that the strange black thing was put over Lee's mouth, and a white rubber band was attached so it would stay on. He then closed the lid, and pressed some buttons. The tank started filling with some green liquid. It started flowing from 2 holes on the side where tubes connected to the wall. Naruto was a little worried, but then started freaking out when it passed Lee's jaw line. He looked at Vegeta Jr. and yelled, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna drown him. Vegeta Jr. looked at Naruto and said, no, I won't. The green liquid heals him and the black mask makes sure oxygen is pumped into his mouth so he can breathe while still being knocked out. You might want to get in one. You took a pretty bad punch at the start. Naruto then said, no, I feel FIOW. He yelped in pain as one of his ribs hit something it wasn't supposed to. Naruto limped toward the machine by Lee's, growling at Vegeta Jr.'s smirking face. He strapped himself in and trusted Vegeta Jr. to do the job right. When the liquid filled the tub, Naruto found the liquid wasn't that bad. It felt soothing on his skin. He decided to take a small nap in the water, trusting Vegeta Jr. Outside the tank, Vegeta Jr. was pacing around in front of the computers. The computers showed that Lee had mild muscle damage and that just about every point of his body was stressed beyond its natural limits. He had a mild concussion, fractured knuckles and wrists, a fractured skull, and some chest damage. But 30 minutes in the Regen tank and he would be fixed up good. Naruto was a different story. He cracked 5 of his ribs with that one punch. He also had a big concussion, overstressed chakra system, broken jawline. His hands were completely burnt from all the ki attacks he used. His knuckles were almost broken. His skull was fractured, and one of his ribs punctured his liver. That was big. But about 40 minutes in the chamber, and he would be as good as new. Vegeta Jr. looked at the list of injuries, and saw that their concussions were going down. He sighed in relief. He walked out the Regen tank room and went down the hall more, stopping at the room that said chemistry lab. He went in there and opened a big box. It had all sorts of tree roots and stuff in it. He took out some of it, mixing it with some of the things that were in the cabinet of the lab. After 5 years of searching, he finally found all the things he was looking for. 30 minutes later, during the time Lee was out, the list on the computer started checking off a lot of things. Lee's injuries were all fixed, but Naruto's weren't. He still had the overstressed chakra system and the punctured liver, and a small concussion. Lee woke up to see that he was in a tub full of green water. His eyes widened quickly as he tried to look for a way out. He was about to pound on the glass for someone to get him out, but someone said, hold up, I'll get you out. Just wait a second. Lee heard the voice, but it was muffled a bit so he couldn't hear it completely. Lee saw the green water leave the tub. When it completely went out, someone grabbed the lid and opened it. Then a familiar person he hadn't seen in 5 years reached over and took off the black mask on his face. The guy then said, "Hey son? How's it hanging?" Lee got a look of surprise on his face, then started tearing up and said, "Father." He leaned forward and gave Vegeta Jr. a hug and started crying. Vegeta Jr. just said, I'm sorry, but I'm here now and I'm not going anywhere." They had their here-warmed father-son moment. During the 30 minutes, Naruto woke up from his nap. He was chilling and heard what Lee said. He looked over there and sighed and said, it's times like this that I wish my dad was alive. So I could pop him one in the nose. Both father and son laughed at Naruto. Naruto just laughed and said, "How you feel, Lee?" Lee said, "I feel good. I feel like that fight with Theost never happened." Vegeta said, "That's the power of the Regen tank. It heals you like you're brand new." Naruto said, "How do you know?" "I thought my father built this place." Vegeta then started chuckling a little, then started laughing outright. He calmed down after a minute and said, "Your father didn't build this place. I did. Your father was nowhere near smart enough to do this." Naruto said, "Where were you all this time?" Vegeta said, "I was out traveling the world. Looking for some stuff. I finally found it all a week ago, and came back. I felt your power levels start shooting off and stuff, so I went over there, and I had to save your asses." Naruto glared and said, "Hey, I could have beaten him with my Kamehameha if you let me fire it off." Vegeta said, "You probably could, but I wanted to kill him for injuring my son." Naruto said, "Damn. Hey, could you let me out of here? I think I can manage." Vegeta looked at the screen to see that all that was left for Naruto was the broken knuckles, which would heal over by themselves since they're now just a minor pain. He let Naruto out. When Naruto stepped out he said, "So you're Vegeta Jr.?" Vegeta looked at Naruto and said, "And you're my godson, Naruto." Naruto looked at him and said, "Wait. What the fuck?" Vegeta said, "Yeah, I was about to adopt you, but the damn Konoha Council overruled it. They purposely go out of their way to make your life a living hell. I was this close," held up his index and thumb a millimeter apart, "to killing them all." Naruto glared at the ground and said, "Too bad you didn't. Those bastards deserve to rot in hell." Vegeta said, "Oh, so true. I personally sent person after person to them for breaking the Sandame's law, but they were all let off. It took every ounce of control I had to not blast that place to oblivion." Naruto started nodding and agreeing. After a while, he said, "What were you looking for? Why were you gone so long?" Vegeta looked at Lee and said it was to cure Lee of a disease he contracted. Naruto looked at Vegeta and said, "Wait, what?" Vegeta said, "Yes, it runs in our family. Lee, I think it's time I told you of your heritage." He then clenched his fists to his side and went Super Saiyan. Lee said, "Dad, your hair's gold. Your eyes are green. What happened?" Vegeta then told Lee of his entire Saiyan heritage. He stopped every time to answer Lee's question. While explaining to Lee the Saiyan heritage, he also talked of Lee's disease. It was a disease that only affected the royal family of the Saiyans. The disease would block their ki from ever forming, leaving their body weak and them having no way to defend themselves. It only let out enough to keep the person alive, but if left alone for too long, by the time they turn 18 they would die. The disease would completely stop the formation of ki and the person would die. The disease could easily be countered by the antibiotics of Vegeta's home world and of planet Vegeta. Not on this planet. They were taught how to make the cure and the babies were usually fed it in a milk bottle since the cure was liquid in form. The only problem was that the things Vegeta needed to make the cure only grew in specific parts of the world. He traveled the world using a guess and check method to find which plants could cure Lee since the plants needed weren't on that planet. Also, he had to make sure the combinations of them wouldn't kill Lee. After the tale, Naruto said, "So, you make the cure yet?" Vegeta nodded his head saying, "I'm about to go finish it now." Lee asked, "How long does making the cure take?" Vegeta said, "About an hour. I only have a small part left to do. Why don't you guys go to the GR and train a bit?" Naruto said, "Alright." After training in 2x gravity with Lee, Naruto and Lee were approached by Vegeta Jr. with the cure. After Lee took it, he fell out like a light. Vegeta Jr. grabbed Lee and took him to a room where he was laid down. He advised Naruto do the same thing, stating he would help train him since that one-eyed bastard won't do his damn job. In Naruto's mind, Naruto was pulled into his mind in the meadow he made for the Kyuubi. He dreamed he was with that Temari girl from Wind Country. Before the dream could get M-rated, he was pulled out by the Kyuubi. He looked at the Kyuubi with so much rage that he couldn't resist calling out, "You bastard." The Kyuubi just fell over laughing. He said, "Kid, in case you hadn't known, I was the one who gave you that dream, so you should be thanking me for what you got." Naruto was still glaring at the Kyuubi and said, "Fuck off." The Kyuubi said, "Whatever. Anyway, I called you here because I want to tell you something. From how your father made it sound, that Theost dude was a weakling compared to Kurumi. Kurumi is the descendant of Frisia and shouldn't be taken lightly. I can teach you more jutsu, but there are some I can't teach you, and with that bastard teacher of yours you won't be learning anything soon." Naruto said, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" Kyuubi said, "Before he always told you to work on your chakra control. I'm telling you that now too. Also, try to interact with the spiritual side of chakra. Right now you can completely control your ki. If you can learn to control your spiritual energy just as well, You can get a lot better chakra control than you have now. Also, ask the Hokage to see if someone would teach you Kenjutsu. And get a sword you could use. Naruto replied, what about Sasuke? Kyuubi said, I don't care. You can help him if you want, but he seems fine on his own. Also, ask Lee and Vegeta about the same thing I did to you. Kami knows you can't get a woman. Naruto said, hey. Kyuubi said, shut up. And you know it's true. When a girl kisses you, you don't just stand there like a vegetable. You bend her over and take her like a man. If the future of the Saiyan race was left in your hands, their history. Naruto just muttered fuck you while glaring at Kyuubi. Kyuubi just said go to hell while ejecting Naruto back to his dreams. Naruto woke up from his chat with the Kyuubi determined. He walked over to Lee to see that he didn't look different, but Naruto was astonished. He had trained a little in ki sensing, but didn't get far in it yet. He used his weak skills to see that Lee had a lot more energy than before. Naruto walked away and got dressed into his version of his family's GI, you know, the black and red one with the red bandana and the ninja band around his left bicep, and into the GR. When he got there, he saw that it was empty, so he hopped in. He set 20 robots to the setting he had them at before: speed, level 18 strength, level 14 endurance, level 20 stamina, level 20 ki blasts, level 15 fighting, level 14, and waited until the party started. The robots came out and charged Naruto immediately. Naruto jumped over the head of one robot and kicked it in the back of the head. Naruto dodged the ki blast that came for him, and fired back at the robot that did it. He ran over to the robot and jumped for a flying kick, but was blasted by another robot. Damn, thought Naruto as he threw a barrage of ki beams at the robot that fired. He then rushed in and punched him in the face. He then took a kick to the back from another robot, and had to jump away. He landed and started firing ki blasts at the robots. The robots took a lot of the damage, but their armor was able to hold up, despite being burned to a crisp in a few places. One charged forward through the blasts, taking a lot of shots in its body, and punched Naruto in the chest. Naruto just punched the robot in the face, sending him flying back. Naruto charged forward and was tackled by another robot. Naruto fell to the floor and then punched the robot in the face repeatedly. Naruto got up and followed the one he hit away. He ran into another robot. Naruto just jumped over it, and kicked it in the back. He fell and rolled onto the ground, right in front of the robot. He then popped up with a right uppercut, smashing some of the armor. He then turned around and kicked him with his left heel, smashing more, until it hit the barrier, damaging its armor further. Naruto charged the robot, but got shot in the back. He started to get pissed off, and just charged his power into a riot javelin and threw it at the robots. He packed it with 40% of his chakra, so if that didn't hurt them, nothing would. He turned to the first robot, and just unleashed 10 ki blasts on it, destroying it easily. He turned to the other robots to see that 3 of them were down for the count, but there were still a lot of them standing. Naruto just let out a battle cry and charged them. After a few minutes, he was able to destroy all of the robots. He went to the console in the middle to see that it was 7:30 a.m. He went out of the GR and saw that Lee was up now and dressed differently. He now sported a dark blue muscle shirt with black pants, but with white boots, what future Trunks wears under his jacket, except blue and white shoes. Naruto went up to him and asked, "Hey Lee, how you feelin'?" Lee said, "I feel different, Naruto. Very youthful, but different. With all of this energy flowing through me, I just know this an entirely new part of my life. I don't know what I'll do." Naruto said, "That's easy. How about helping your dad kill those sick bastards that blew up their home planet? There's a lot more where Theost came from, and I'm pretty sure they get a lot stronger. We'll have to be ready. Another thing you could do is destroy Niji in a fight." Lee said, "That's a good, and very youthful idea. Maybe I'll do it." Naruto said, "That's the spirit. Now I think we have to meet with our teams now or we'll be in big trouble." Lee said, "Damn, you're right. It's 7:45, Guy-sensei will never let me live it down if I don't get there in time." As they were running for the lift, Naruto takes another look at Lee and notices something weird. He had lavender hair. When they got on the lift, Naruto said, "What the hell, Lee? Where did you get lavender hair?" Lee said, "It's my natural hair color. When I first started the academy, people laughed and talked about me cause of the color of my hair. I dyed it so no one would notice." Naruto asked, "So why didn't you dye it today?" Lee said, "Well, first, I didn't have any dye since I slept here. And second, I'm tired of hiding who I am. If people talk about me behind my back, then that just shows that they're too scared to say it in your face." Naruto said, "That's true. Cause when they bring it to your face, they get their asses kicked." After Naruto stopped talking, the lift was finally opened. Naruto and Lee said their goodbyes and went to their team meeting places. Naruto ran there and got there to see Sakura and Sasuke waiting there. He went to sit by Sasuke and waited for Kakashi to get there. While they were waiting, some of the other teams were having meetings. The teams were told they had no missions for the day and to report to the Team 7 training ground for a group tournament that the Jounin asked their genin to be a part of. Mato Guy's team was also called, making it a 12-man tournament. The other teams got there just as Kakashi came. Kakashi inwardly smirked, crushing Naruto's spirit will be easy as pie. Kakashi said, "Hey, all of you guys are here, now we can start this tournament." Kiba said, "What tournament? I wasn't told about this." Kakashi said, "Me, Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy planned this thing last night, so you wouldn't have heard about it. Basically, this tournament is to promote group teamwork and cooperation among the genin of Konoha. Also, a big tournament's coming up in 6 months and I want you all to be ready. So we're holding this tournament so you can see the flaws in your fighting style and fix them before the big tournament. Now, chill out over there and we'll pick the fights. Kakashi pointed to the platform where there were 3 logs where they usually meet. Most of the genin went over there, except Naruto, who went over to the memorial stone. He kneeled down and looked over the names on there. He moved down the list until he came to Minato Namikaze. Naruto closed his eyes and said a prayer for his dad. After opening his eyes, he said, "I hope you're watching me, Dad. I'll win this tournament for you." Unfortunately for him, someone followed him over there. He said, "You win this tournament? Ha! That's laughable. Fate has its eye on me winning this tournament. It's my destiny to win this, and yours to lose, rookie." Naruto turned around and looked at who said that. The person standing there had on black shorts with white short-sleeved vest. He had tape on his right leg and arm. He had his hair into a ponytail, and had pupil-less eyes. Naruto got up, looked at him and said, "Fate ain't got shit to do with it, Niji Hyuga. This will be determined on skill, not on who Fate wants to win. If it's your destiny to win, then I'll just have to change your destiny, won't I?" Niji scoffed and said, "I don't even know why I'm talking to trash like you." Naruto and Niji glared. Pearl White met coal black as the tension in the air rose. Naruto retorted, "And here I thought you hated the head family of the Hyuga clan? You sound like one of them. You have a stick so far up your ass you gag on it. Now move, I have a tournament to warm up for. And I'll show you who's trash on the battlefield, Hyuga." With that, Naruto rudely brushed past Niji and walked to Sasuke. Sasuke asked what was that all about. Naruto said, "Bastard thinks he's better than everyone because he's part of the mighty Hyuga clan. I'm just pissed a little. I guess it's up to me to show him how relying on your family name will get you nothing." Sasuke just laughed, and said, "You are best at that. If it wasn't for you challenging me in the academy, I would have never learned that, and I would have died a lot quicker." Naruto smiled and said, "True, you can't do anything right without me." Sasuke smirked and said, "Oh please. Just cause you're a half-blood of the ultimate fighting warrior race doesn't mean I won't kick your ass to a Wagakure and back." Naruto smirked, and said, "I'd like to see you try." Lee comes over there and said, "Having fun, Naruto?" Naruto said, "I will as soon as that list is completed." "I want to fight." Lee said, "Who doesn't?" Sasuke said, "Naruto, I think you'd better watch your ass. You know Kakashi's out to get you and the tourney might get ugly if you don't watch what you do." Naruto said, "Why do I need to watch my ass? You and Lee got my back, right?" Sasuke and Lee said, "Duh." Naruto retorted, "Alright then." After a few more minutes, the Jounin came back with a list of fighters. It was Naruto Uzumaki vs Kiba Inuzuka, Niji Hyuga vs Hinata Hyuga, Choji Akimichi vs Tenten Higurashi, Rock Lee vs Shikamaru Nara, Sakura Haruno vs Ino Yamanaka, Sasuke Uchiha vs Shino Aburame. Naruto was not surprised by this. Kiba was one of the fastest genin, but also the third worst in academic grades, the first being him and the second being Shikamaru. Kakashi hoped that he would think that after all that time of training he still hadn't gotten any better. Then he would kick him while he was down. Naruto just put his anger on the back burner, psyched about the battle. He could finally test his power more, instead of against only the robots. Naruto stood up and walked away from the platform to where the ring was. Kiba was also ecstatic, but because he thought Naruto was weak. He said, "Yeah, we drew Naruto for our match. This match will be easy, right, Akamaru?" The ninja dogs of the Inuzuka clan had far more advanced hearing and sniffing than regular humans. They also had a sixth sense for danger, like a primitive version of chakra sensing. With Akamaru being a ninja dog, he could sense that Naruto was a big threat to Kiba and could kill Kiba if he tried. But Akamaru was extremely loyal to Kiba and knew of his confidence problem, so he didn't say anything so Kiba wouldn't feel betrayed. So he barked a few times, translating into "It sure will." "Let's make this quick," Kiba said. "Agreed." "You're going down, Uzumaki," Naruto said. "Whatever. By the end of this match, you'll be eating those words, dog breath." Kakashi acted as the referee for this match. He walked in between them and said, "All right, I want a good clean match. Killing is strictly prohibited. First to give up or fall unconscious loses. Now get ready, Hajime." With that, Kakashi jumped away, letting the two genin start the match. Kiba said, "I'll end this in one strike." He started doing hand seals and then got down on all fours and dashed at Naruto, yelling out all fours jutsu. 1. Suddenly gaining an extra burst of speed, he hit Naruto, who was expecting to block the attack easily. Naruto flew away, hitting the floor 6 feet away. Naruto stayed down, playing dead. Kiba said, "Kakashi-sensei, you might as well call it. He's not getting up from that." Naruto chose this time to stomp on Kiba's pride. "Really, that attack was weak. I'll admit, that jutsu caught me off guard, but that hit was nothing. Now let's really fight." Naruto stood up and charged Kiba. He ran over there with his fist cocked back like he was going to punch, but then put on a burst of ki at the last second, making an afterimage punch out. Kiba moved to block the punch, only for it to go through him. He looked around for Naruto, only to be hit in the back by the person he was looking for. Naruto said, "Like it, dog boy. It's called the afterimage technique." I guess I got you back, didn't I? Kiba just said whatever, loser, I'm just taking it easy on you right now. Naruto smirked and said really, cause all I'm doing is warming up. And with that, Naruto dodged after Kiba, using ki to propel him at Kiba faster. He sent out a right punch at Kiba's face, which Kiba ducked under. Kiba sent a left punch at Naruto's stomach, making Naruto bend over in pain. Kiba then sent his left knee into Naruto's face, causing Naruto to stumble back a little. Naruto got his bearings back, in just enough time to avoid an all-fours jutsu by Kiba. Naruto made 3 shadow clones. He ran after Kiba, his clones charging behind him. Naruto dodged the right hook by Kiba, then kicked out. He bent over as his clone jumped over him. Kiba thought it's only a regular clone. It won't hurt me. The clone, expecting that train of thought, charged all the ki it had into a fist and punched Kiba in the chest. The remaining 2 did the same thing, except one hit his left leg, and another one being blocked, injuring him some. Naruto didn't put a lot of chakra into them. After the hit, without ki to support them, the clones puffed away. Naruto stood up, admiring his clone's work. Kiba got up and reached into his pouch. He pulled out some small purple balls. He then threw them at Naruto's direction. Naruto saw them coming and realized what they were quick. He started doing hand seals but was too late, as the smoke bombs went off, clouding his vision. Naruto finished his hand seals, calling out wind style, great breakthrough. Naruto blew the smoke away to see that Akamaru was charging him. Naruto dodged the dog's leap at his head and grabbed its body. He then threw the dog at Kiba as hard as he could. Kiba ran and caught Akamaru, getting mad. He didn't notice Naruto making hand seals until Naruto yelled out lightning style. False darkness jutsu. Kiba saw the mass of lightning coming for him and dashed away. He was able to evade the jutsu, but not Naruto's fist. Kiba rolled away and got back up. He then fed himself and Akamaru some soldier pills. Akamaru's fur started turning red, and Akamaru started looking more feral. Akamaru jumped on top of Kiba and put his front paws together. Kiba put his hands together also. They then called out Beast Human Clone Jutsu, 2. Akamaru just barked, then Akamaru turned into an exact copy of Kiba, but more feral. Kiba did hand seals and yelled out all force jutsu, increasing his strength and speed, making him look as feral as Akamaru. He said, "This is it, loser. It's time to show you the power of the best genin in the village." Akamaru jumped off of Kiba, and they kicked off of each other. They started spinning, yelling out dual piercing form 3, and charged at Naruto. Naruto saw them coming and jumped over them, but didn't expect them to follow him up there. He flew away quickly, barely avoiding the attack and leaving an afterimage there. He touched down to see that Kiba and Akamaru landed down, and started back up again. Naruto dodged Akamaru, then Kiba, and flipped over Akamaru when he came around. He couldn't dodge Kiba's attack though. He flew 5 feet away, landing in a heap on the ground. He started getting up, hearing Kiba gloat. "Yeah, loser. You can never beat me. I am the best. You know what, I'll become Hokage in your place. Kami knows you could never reach the top. You're not even good enough to lick the dirt off my boots. Alright, fuck this. No more Mr. Nice Guy. The gloves come off now. This match is over." Naruto stood up, still facing the ground. He looked up at Kiba, and smirked, phasing out of existence. He reappeared behind Akamaru, kicking him in the back. Kiba saw this and tried to claw Naruto, but Naruto left an afterimage there. He reappeared in front of Kiba, punching him in the face and 3 times in the body. He saw Akamaru coming at him with a piercing form 4, but threw Kiba in the way, and phased away. He reappeared 10 feet away from Kiba, and shot Kiba and Akamaru with 20 ki blasts. With that, Kiba was done. Kakashi came out on the field, and although no one picked it up, reluctantly announced Naruto as the winner. Naruto went over to sit next to Sasuke and Lee. Sasuke whistled and said, "Damn, how'd you get so good?" Naruto said, I practiced. I've been doing this for a couple weeks now, and I got the hang of it. It's not as hard as it seems." Sasuke said, "Then why is it so hard for me?" Naruto said, "Well, you've only been practicing for 13 days, while I've been practicing for the time equivalent of 34 days. Lee said, "After this, you have to teach me that youthful technique, Naruto. If I don't get the technique, I'll run around the village 40 times. And if Lee was cut off abruptly by Naruto punching him in the gut. While they were talking, Kiba was being taken care of. He only had a few burn marks and a lot of bruises, so he would live. He walked over to where the other genin sat, and Hinata and Neji were called. Kakashi said, "Second match, Hinata Hyuga vs. Neji Hyuga. Ready, set, Hajime." Kakashi jumped away as soon as the match started. "I don't feel like typing this, but it goes the same as it did at the Chunin exams. I'm skipping to the end." Hinata was clutching her chest saying, "You're wrong, Neji. I can see you're suffering more than me." Neji narrowed his eyes and said, "What are you?" Hinata interrupted him, saying, "You are the one who is confused and suffering inside the fate of the head and branch families." Neji glared at Hinata, growled and let out a battle cry and charged Hinata. Naruto saw this, and charged toward Neji before the Jounin could react. The Jounin appeared in front of Neji, but Neji's dash was stopped, courtesy of Naruto's fist in his gut. Naruto didn't pay Neji any mind and walked over to Hinata. He went over there to see her on the floor, gasping for breath. He was about to call for a medic, but one appeared already. He said, "My name Raditz Nappa, the Hokage sent me over here to heal the wounded. I guess I was too late. I'll take the girl." He pushed past the Jounin and went to Hinata and Naruto. Naruto looked him in the eyes and said he was cut off by the medic whispering, "Shut up, I'll take care of her." Vegeta picked up Hinata and carried her away quickly before anyone could question him. Naruto walked over to Neji to see him just getting up. He got in Neji's face and said, "What the fuck was that all about? This was supposed to be a spar, not a death match. You could have killed her." Neji said, "What do you care? I guess you losers do have to stick together. I don't have to answer to you." Naruto glared and said, "Since you won this fight, that means we'll fight in the semi-finals. Neji, I will make you beg for mercy." Choji vs Tenten was an interesting match also. Tenten had dodged Choji's human boulder jutsu, many times, until she figured out the pattern of it. When he turned around he had to stop rolling for a while. She threw a kunai at him when he stopped rolling, nailing him in the stomach. As he deactivated the jutsu, she charged in with a sword and held it at a man's true best friend. Needless to say, Choji gave up quickly. Next match was Rock Lee vs Shikamaru Nara. After Kakashi started the match, Lee jumped up and shot out with a quick leaf whirlwind, which missed Shikamaru. Lee started an all-out taijutsu fight with Shikamaru, not giving Shikamaru time to make a plan. Lee got lucky and was able to land a punch on Shikamaru's face. He followed up with 2 more punches, then swept Shikamaru's feet from under him and held a kunai at his throat. Naruto turned around and walked away to his friends. The next match was Sakura vs Ino. As soon as it started, Ino used her mind transfer jutsu, to get Sakura to give up. With Sasuke vs Shino, Shino gave up since the Uchiha clan was known for their fire jutsus, and Shino's bugs were obviously flammable. Then they were in the semi-finals. 10 minutes after Sasuke's match was over, the Jounin came back, showing the list for the semi-finals. While they were gone, Hinata came back with a clean bill of health. The medic came over there, and gave a wink at Naruto and Lee. The matches were Naruto Uzumaki vs Neji Hyuga, Rock Lee vs Tenten Higurashi, Ino Yamanaka vs Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto walked over to the clearing, waiting for Neji. Neji walked over there and said, "You might as well give up now, rookie. Once a loser, always a loser." Naruto smirked and said, "Really, I guess I'll just have to show you how strong this loser is. Prepare yourself for defeat." Kakashi smirked under his mask, thinking that this would definitely ruin Naruto's confidence. Naruto stood there, and when the match started, he phased away. Neji smirked, and muttered Byakugan. He saw Naruto, and used the Juken strike where Naruto would be, but Naruto was too fast for him. Neji was barely able to counter Naruto's punch from behind and strike him with an open palm strike. Naruto looked at him, then punched him in the face, asking what the hell was that supposed to do. Naruto did the shadow clone jutsu and made 20 clones. Most of them jumped Neji, but Naruto and 3 other clones stayed behind, standing by each other. They started doing hand seals, and when they ended, the clones yelled fire style, grand fireball. And Naruto yelled out wine style, great breakthrough. The wind fed the fire, making the fireballs really big. Naruto smirked and watched Neji burn. He dispelled his clones, and when the smoke cleared, Neji was standing there, his hair looking a little windswept, and his clothes a little burned and out of breath. He tried to play it off, saying, "See, loser, not even your best attack could stand up to me. You have no chance." Naruto chuckled darkly and said, "Neji, who the hell said that move was my best attack?" Naruto phased out of existence, and then 40 clones appeared. They all charged Neji. Neji was able to blow them all back, yelling out 8 trigrams, rotation. 8. The clones started puffing away, leaving the original Naruto standing there. Neji smirked, and said, "Idiot, you're within my 8 trigrams." Neji took a weird stance, then charged Naruto after yelling out 8 trigrams, 64 palms. 9. He went to Naruto yelling out 8 trigrams, 2 palms, and struck Naruto twice with his middle and index finger. He then struck him twice again with lightning-like speed, yelling out 4 palms. He struck Naruto 4 times yelling out 8 palms. He struck Naruto 8 times yelling out 16 palms. He struck Naruto 16 times yelling out 32 palms. He then struck Naruto 32 times, with the last one being a palm strike, while yelling out 64 palms. He ended with a palm thrust to Naruto's chest. Naruto fell back 6 feet, but stumbled back up on his knees a couple of seconds later. He knew that using chakra was out of the question now, since his chakra points were closed. Naruto tried to focus ki into his hand, and surprisingly it worked. Naruto was confused, but thought to answer that later. Naruto stood up on shaky legs, and waited. Neji said, "Kakashi-sensei, I'm about to kill him now, unless you call it." Naruto said, in a fake weak voice, "Wait, don't call it. I won't give up to this bastard. I'll keep fighting." Neji glared, and charged Naruto. Naruto, who was looking down at the ground all this time, smirked. He waited until Neji was close, and left an afterimage there. Neji had too much forward momentum and stumbled after going through the afterimage. Naruto was at Neji's starting point and smirked. He started firing ki blasts at Neji, who used his rotation to block them. Naruto increased his firing speed a lot, then stopped firing, and charged up a big ki beam, firing it at Neji. Neji saw the massive ki coming, and increased his rotation speed to block it. Neji was able to keep it up for an entire minute, before the attack became too much for him and he was barely able to jump away. Naruto stopped the blast, and charged Neji, planting his ki-charged fist in Neji's gut. Neji passed out, giving Naruto the win. Naruto said, I guess you were wrong believing in destiny, Neji. I was the worst kid in my class, yet I was able to win against the best of the last class. Nothing in this world is set in stone, and the sooner you realize that the better off you'll be. Naruto walked away, waiting for the next match. After saying those last words to Neji, Naruto walked to Sasuke and Rock Lee on the sidelines. He was waiting for them to get the next match started. Vegeta was waiting at the field with Hinata, knowing that others were going to get hurt. He ran on the field, grabbed Neji, and left for somewhere to heal him. While they were waiting for the other competitors to get warmed up, Naruto was approached by Kiba, Shino, and Choji. Kiba said, Damn, Naruto, you destroyed him. What were those yellow balls of energy though? Choji stopped snacking on his chips enough to say yeah. I saw you use those same techniques on Kiba in his match. Shino said true. Uzumaki-san, I'm pretty sure we all would want to know what moves you used in those matches. Naruto, who had already formulated a lie, said a friend of my father knew those techniques. My father died in the Kyuubi's attack on the village and his friend was really devastated. He didn't even know I existed until I ran into him at Wave Country a few weeks ago. From then, he taught me the techniques. Kiba whistled and said, Is there any way we could learn them? Naruto said, Well, there is, but it's like a family secret. My dad was almost banished from his clan for teaching his friend. And it took a lot for them not to kill his friend. Choji said, Man, that would be bad. Shino said, That is true. Naruto said, Hey guys, the next match is starting. After Vegeta left, they started the next match. Rock Lee vs Tenten. Lee came up to the makeshift ring, with Tenten right behind him. He said, Good luck, Tenten. You might need it. Tenten said, I won't. You might, but I won't. Unknown to Lee, Tenten took a summoning scroll from her right hip and unsealed what looked like a sword hilt. Kakashi said, Ready, Hajime. And jumped away. Lee took that notion to immediately dash at Tenten. Tenten, although not very good in taijutsu, had expected it, and had pulled the sword out of the summoning scroll with her left hand and slashed Lee with it. Lee was barely able to stop himself and duck under the attack. He let out a left punch at Tenten's chest, but she jumped away, throwing 7 shuriken at Lee. Lee saw them coming, and jumped over them. He then landed and dashed after Tenten again. He let out another punch, but it was dodged and he was stabbed by a kunai, then kicked in the face. Lee tumbled away, but got back up after a while. Lee said, You're good, Tenten. You too, Lee. You almost hurt me there. That statement got Tenten surprised a little, but she recovered, saying, You're lying. With that, Lee disappeared. Tenten then heard Lee's voice next to her say, I'm completely serious. She turned to Lee in shock, but then looked at him in pain as he punched her in her chest. He then grabbed her arm, and threw her away. Tenten was caught off guard by Lee's sucker punch, but recovered and landed on her feet. Tenten pulled out another scroll and unsealed another sword. She held both at the same time and went after Lee. Lee just ran to her, meeting her blow for blow. Tenten sent a slash at him with the left sword, which Lee dodged, only to have to block the other sword that cut into his forearm. Damn. I'm gonna have to dodge all her hits if I want to win. Lee started dodging all her swipes, but was barely succeeding. She was almost as good with her weapons as he was with taijutsu. Keyword, almost. After dodging a few hits, Lee saw that she took a little time to pull back her blades. When she tried to slash him again, he kicked her hand, forcing her to drop the blade. He then did it to her other hand to completely disarm her. As soon as her blades left her hand, Tenten started flipping out of Lee's reach, knowing if she didn't the match would have been over. Tenten landed and said, Wow, you're awesome, Lee. Lee said, The feeling's mutual, Tenten. Tenten then got an evil smirk on her face. Lee saw and started panicking a little. What are you thinking about, Tenten? Tenten said, Oh, nothing, except the small little fact that there's one advantage I have over you. Lee got a confused look on his face and said, What? Tenten started doing hand seals quickly, threw 2 scrolls on the sides of her, and said this. Twin Rising Dragons Jutsu. 1. The scrolls went up in puffs of smoke, the smoke going up and forming into dragons. The dragons then started wrapping around each other, blinding people of Tenten. Behind the smoke, Tenten jumped into the air, the dragons turning back into scrolls. She then started summoning weapons at a really fast pace. Back on the ground, Lee was confused. I've seen her practice this move before. And if I'm right, then oh shit, then Lee realized. This is when she throws them all at her opponent, aka him. Lee tried to think of a way out, only to get a kunai go past his ear. He felt something trickling down, and knew it was blood. Lee jumped out of the way, trying to avoid them, but couldn't dodge all of them. He dodged the biggest of them like swords and hammers and scythes, but couldn't dodge all the shuriken and kunai. The onslaught went on for 3 minutes. When the barrage of weapons was over, Lee was standing there, with over 30 weapons sticking out of his body. He was still standing though. Throughout the entire battlefield, weapons were scattered and there was a big crater. At the bottom of the crater were 2 big packs of weights. Tenten had landed after the attack, only to be surprised as Lee stood there with only a few of the weapons she threw. Tenten cursed her luck. At least she had the second part of the attack. Tenten then jumped high into the air, pulling her hands back. As her hands came back, so did the weapons. She had chakra strings attached to her weapons. That included the weapons attached to Lee. As the weapons pulled back, the blood they kept back came gushing out. Lee cried out in pain, but it was short-lived as Tenten threw all the weapons at him again. Lee then dashed away, but got 10 kunai in his body. Throughout all the pain, he was still able to move fast. So fast that Tenten couldn't reach when he jumped to her height, and let out a leaf whirlwind. Tenten was blown back, but was able to land on her feet. Lee charged her again, letting out a right straight punch that was dodged. Lee used the momentum to hit Tenten with his left heel. Lee faced Tenten as she got up, and then said, "It's been a good fight, Tenten, but I gotta beat you." With that, Lee jumped back, and started doing hand seals, surprising his team. The thoughts on their minds were, why is he doing hand seals? He can't do any jutsu. He has no chakra. Lee then ended his hand seals, yelling out wind style, "Great breakthrough jutsu." With that, the wind started picking up tremendously. The winds blew Tenten away and into a tree 20 feet away, effectively knocking her out. Kakashi went over to her to inspect her, and saw that she was passed out. He then said, "Winner, rock Lee." Lee went over and took Tenten from Kakashi, volunteering to take her to the medic. After handing her over to his father, he left and went to walk over to the others, getting there as Sasuke and Ino were called over to the field. Guy came over to the genin to sit by Lee. He asked Lee, "How can you do those abilities?" Lee said, "Guy-sensei, that's a secret. I can't tell you yet, but ask me again when we're in private." "Wait, Lee. There is also something else I must talk to you about. You unleashed your weights without having to protect your precious ones or my permission." Lee stared wide-eyed at Guy, realizing what he did out on the battlefield. He didn't think of the consequences. Guy looked down at Lee, then out of nowhere punched him in the jaw, sending him flying 10 feet away. Lee got up and said, "I deserve that, Guy-sensei. I am sorry for not following your rules." Guy then walked over to Lee and smiled at him. He said, "I'll let it go this time and for your last few matches. But don't do it again, understand, Lee?" Lee immediately stood up, saluting and saying, "Yes, Guy-sensei." Guy just nodded and let it drop. Kakashi said, "Okay people, next match. Sasuke Uchiha vs. Ino Yamanaka." Sasuke and Ino approached the stage. Ino was worried that Sasuke would hurt her, but she also couldn't back down. She had a huge crush on Sasuke and she knew that backing down without a fight would show how weak she was. She had to stand up for herself, or Sasuke would never love her in her mind. Sasuke said, "You know, Ino, this match is pretty much over now. Why did you even come up here?" Ino said, "I had to. If I didn't, it would seem that I was weak, and I'm not. I know that I have no chance, but I might as well try my best." Sasuke got a shocked look on his face, then smiled. He said, "I never thought I would hear that from a fangirl of mine. I guess you're the only smart one of them. You're still trying even though you don't think you can win. That's a great quality, Ino. I like that." Ino's eyes widened to the size of 24 rims, then got a really wide smile on her face, while thinking to herself, "Sasuke likes me. Sasuke likes me. Sasuke likes me." Sasuke looked at her, then thought, "Damn it. I guess there's more fangirlism in her than I thought. I'll have to find out how to change that, and quick." Sasuke got into a fighting stance, with Ino taking that as her cue to get into one also. Sasuke saw that it was the Academy Taijutsu stance, but she still was flawed in a few places. Kakashi saw that they were waiting, so he said, "Ready, Hajime," and jumped back. Sasuke decided to take it easy on Ino, but charged her all the same. He came with a left punch, that was parried by Ino, as she sent a right punch to his face. Sasuke ducked under the punch, and used his right leg to sweep her feet out from under her. Ino fell back, but went into a backflip to save herself from meeting the ground. Ino then charged Sasuke and booted him in the face. Sasuke, not expecting Ino to actually hit him, went reeling back 3 feet. He got up with an imprint of the sole of Ino's sandal on his cheek. Sasuke got up, and started doing hand seals. After them, he yelled out fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. 2. He expelled the fireballs out of his mouth at fast speeds at Ino. Ino started dodging the fireballs, but barely making it. After the fireballs stopped, Ino started throwing shuriken and kunai at Sasuke. Sasuke smirked, and started doing hand seals and called out fire style, Grand Fireball Jutsu, expelling a great ball of fire from his mouth, melting all the shuriken. At that, Ino started thinking Sasuke-kun's so cool. Oh yeah, gotta stay on track. Ino ran at Sasuke to engage him in taijutsu. She threw 3 punches at him, which were all dodged. She surprised him with a kick, but he dodged it. After about a minute of Sasuke dodging Ino's hits, Sasuke decides to end it, seeing as Ino didn't give up. Ino kicked at Sasuke's face with her right foot, but Sasuke leaned into the hit to lessen the damage. Then going with the momentum, Sasuke crouched down and used his right leg to sweep Ino's feet out from under her. Ino was about to get up, but Sasuke held a kunai at her throat. Sasuke said, "Sorry, Ino, but I win." Kakashi said, "Winner, Sasuke Uchiha." Ino and Sasuke got up and walked away. Sasuke looked at Ino and saw that she was glum. Sasuke walked over to her and said, "Hey Ino?" Ino looked over at him. Sasuke continued saying that was a great match. "Maybe you want to talk about it over lunch sometime?" At hearing this, Ino got butterflies in her stomach. She was so happy, she was only able to stutter out a yes. Sasuke said, "Great. I'll see you later then." Sasuke walked back to Naruto, seeing Naruto grinning. Sasuke tried his best to hide a smirk, but a little showed. Naruto said, "Sasuke, I can't believe it. You actually asked a girl out on a date?" Sasuke said, "What about it?" Naruto said, "It's good. For a second there I thought you were gay." Sasuke said, "Fuck you." Naruto said, "More proof you're gay." Sasuke said, "Go to hell." Naruto just smirked and looked ahead. 10 minutes later, after their 10-minute break, Naruto, Lee and Sasuke approached the arena. Kakashi said, "Alright, here's the lineup." He showed them a chart showing Naruto versus Lee, then winner versus Sasuke. Kakashi also said, "Naruto, Lee, the winner of your match won't be given any time to break. We have been waiting enough." This shocked the other jounin. They had let Kakashi pick the matches cause he came up with the idea, but he had gone too far this time for their liking. The first one to speak up was Kurenai. She said, "What are you doing, Kakashi?" Kakashi responded, "I'm choosing the matches," in a voice that made it sound obvious. Asuma walked up, saying, "No, you're not. You're making it so Sasuke will win. You've been giving him the easy route all along." Guy decided this was the time to speak up. He said, "They're right, Kakashi. I've also noticed that you have given Naruto the hardest route according to his academy portfolio. You set Sasuke up with Shino, knowing that Shino would give up because his bugs are flammable. You expected Ino to give up since she likes Sasuke." Naruto saw the other jounin defending him and decided he should defend himself against this white-haired bastard. He said, "Well, I had to fight Kiba, who's a lot faster than you thought I was. And Niji, who is a close-range fighter, when you thought I had no taijutsu abilities. You've been aiming for me to fail, while pushing Sasuke up. The only reason I beat those two was because you have no idea of my true abilities." Lee came over and said, "I agree with my youthful friend and the sensei. You've been playing favorites, Kakashi-san." Kakashi mentally cursed. Damn. They figured it out. I shouldn't have made the no-break thing. Now what do I do? Wait, that's it. Kakashi said, "Well, what do you suppose we do? There's 3 semi-finalists, and we need to have 2 for the final match." Sasuke was listening to all of this from the beginning and decided now was the time to speak up. He said, "Who said we need 2 for the final match? Also, who said that we are semi-finalists?" Kakashi said, "What are you getting at, Sasuke?" Naruto had already figured out what he meant by that, and was grinning like an idiot. Lee looked at Naruto and saw the grin, and thought it seems like something good is about to happen. Sasuke said, "A 3-way free-for-all battle for the win. What do you think, Naruto?" Naruto's grin turned into a smirk and he said, "I'm game." "What about you, Lee?" Lee smiled and said, "I'm okay with that." Sasuke said, "Okay then, a free-for-all." Kakashi said, "Alright then, a 3-way battle." Kakashi was also thinking, fools. Sasuke will win this easy. And my plan will work perfectly. It's better to completely crush his dreams when he's so close to it anyway. The 3 competitors traveled to the ring, and waited for Kakashi to give the signal. Kakashi yelled Hajime, and jumped back as the 3 genin squared off. Lee, Naruto, and Sasuke were having a staring contest. After about 20 seconds, Naruto got tired and broke off at Sasuke. Sasuke immediately activated his Sharingan, surprising all at the battle. Sakura's thoughts. Sasuke-kun activated the Sharingan. That's so cool. He'll beat that Lee loser and that monster Naruto. Why can't that monster just die? Then it would be just me and Sasuke-kun forever and ever. He's always trying to interfere with what's destined to be. I should have killed him years ago. Yeah, the bitch is crazy.